on. 14 stream streak. I can't say that. 14 stream streak. L thing, thank you very much. Damn, 14. Hells yeah. You know, that's impressive, but you know what's more impressive? I went onto my chess.com app the other day. Well, every day, technically. And it gave me a little notification that I think I'm on like a, let's see, 131-day streak, which by the way is bullshit, because I'm 95% positive that I think I've played chess every single day for over 1 to 2 years. I swear by that. But for some reason, the app has not captured that as gospel. So anyways, welcome guys. Thank you for being here. This is a super late night stream. It's also a stream where I've kind of just rushed through a bunch of tech stuff. So there's a big chance that some things are not working. At the very least, hopefully you guys can hear me. And then, oh, I already see something I need to fix. Let's restart this cider music. So hopefully you guys can hear music. Let's see. Is that true? Okay, there we go. So you guys should be able to hear something. Let me turn it up on my end as well. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you guys can hear some music. Maybe it's too loud. Let me drop it down a bit. What else? What else do I need to test out? Yes, so welcome guys. Like I said, today is a little bit of a unorthodox stream. It is currently 9 p.m. in Dubai. I had an event. There is a 3-day summit. It's called the 1 Billion Follower Summit that's taking place here in Dubai. There's a number of large content creators that are here, including Mr. Beast is probably the most well-known one, and a bunch of other creators as well. And so, excuse me, I also had a very late night dinner. I was asked if I could participate. There's a company that I've been wanting to work with in a deeper capacity, and they had seen me speak at some other event before, and they asked if I'd be willing to be a podcast host. And so they've invited a number of content creators to step into their podcast booth, where essentially, if they're English speaking, I would take the role of the podcast host, ask them questions, blah, 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 and, you know, spend about 20-30 minutes or so having a chat. And so, yeah, that's what I've been doing today. I just had a couple today, and then I have a few more tomorrow, and then a few more the day after. So it's been pretty fun, but a bit exhausting, because it's a little far away, and I had to take care of business, and traffic in Dubai is not fun. Maple Glades is in the chat. Yo, Maple, since you're in the chat, because I feel like I'm always bugging you whenever you're here, and I will not stop. I'm trying to do vertical streaming right now at the same time as my typical stream. So I'm using something that technically says it can do a vertical format, and I did spend some time to kind of set it up, but I don't know how to start the stream. Right now I'm only testing it on YouTube, but supposedly it should be, yeah, ATEM vertical. Thank you, Maple. Yes, it should be ATEM vertical. I see on my side, I've set it up. L, you asked, can you name drop some of them? I mean, they're not like, they're more local creators. The ones that I chatted with today, they're local. One is a wildlife photographer. Yeah, I can absolutely put their names in. One of them, he doesn't have like a large following, but he's like a really impressive guy, and he even says as much. Like, he's not about the follows, but he is a man of of connections and impressive skill sets. He works for one of the sheikhs here in Dubai. But yeah, one is called jamesdunn.art, and then the other is Kriti. I posted a few Kriti Walia photography. She's a bird photographer. But yeah, so those are the two that I interviewed today, and then I have a few more in the coming days. They're in all kinds of fields. So, but yeah, these are local guys. Listen, I don't have like some big 500,000 follower person that I'm interviewing. We're talking, you know, small fry, but it's still good learnings for me. It's, you know, they're paying me like just a bit here and there, but it's also just a good way for me to get some more yeah, just get more practice out there speaking in a formal manner. So yeah, so Maple, it is, I'm here because I want to be bugged. Yes, thank you for being here. Oh, and you know what, there's all these tech guys. I mean, this event is massive, so they had like all these big brands with their booths, and the company that I'm doing the interviews for, Grand Stores, they also are the main distributor for a number of brands like Hollyland, Nikon, of course. Then they've got, oh my god, why am I spacing on the name? There's Small Rig, and then there's one that starts with a T. Small Rig and Tall Rig. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Small Rig, and then there's one, it starts with a T. They do like gimbals and, yeah, like Small Rig. Okay, let me type Small Rig competitor starts with a T. Tilta? Yeah, Tilta. Was that it? Was it Tilta? Sorry, I'm gonna read your chat in a second, Maple. Sorry, I'm in usual fashion. I need to double check. Yeah, Tilta. I think that's the brand. So yeah, Tilta. Oh, and Nico's in the chat. Sorry, Nico, I didn't see your message pop up on my. I don't know why. I keep having some technical glitches. I'll take care of it. Nico, thank you for saying hi on the YouTube side. It didn't show up on. Oh, I know why. I must know why. I'll take care of it later. Welcome, Nico. Thanks for being here. And Maple said, pretty sure you can link it to Go Live the same time you hit the OBS Go Live button, but the panel for ATEM Vertical should have its own Go Live red button. That last part you said is the thing I'm not... I think because I have two stream keys that I set up, there's a few things that kind of got messed up here, maybe. On my end, I see... Oh, yeah. You know, I did... Okay, so I did click on a button that says Vertical Canvas. And I had created YouTube. Let's call this Vertical YouTube. I copied and I put the YouTube server as primary YouTube ingest server, so which is the same as my main YouTube canvas. I don't know if that's an issue, but I don't see any other options for me. And then the stream key, I did put in the custom stream key. That's part of this new vertical one that I had set up. So Maple, you said, yeah, also the message. Okay, hold on. Pretty sure. Okay, is it docked in OBS? I don't think you can do vertical and horizontal streaming to YouTube. Well, here's the interesting thing. YouTube, this must have been recent, but there's a new option when you go stream on YouTube that says there's a dual stream option. So it says automatically generates a vertical cropped version for the shorts feed. So YouTube is now doing a dual function thing. However, the issue I ran into is they don't give you the ability to customize that vertical crop, and I didn't see any way to, adjust it any further. So it's a bit crude. So obviously I'd rather use OBS to be able to like manually adjust things, but I haven't yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that. Markman's in the chat. Yo, Markman, and I apologize. I'm kind of okay. Your message popped through. Why didn't Nick's go through? Markman says, "Been a while. Hope you're loving the ZR." Yes, I am. Yo, it's been a while. Happy New Year. This is only my second stream back since the new year in terms of like a normal, just kind of just chatting stream and hopefully getting through some video editing. But it's like 9 p.m. my time, and then I've done one or two co-working streams, so it's good to be back. Thank you for being here. And of course, I've been loving the ZR. The ZR is actually the camera that you're seeing right now. So obviously I can't test it in the red format and all that stuff, but it's been working out really nicely for the stream camera. And there's a few devices that I will be purchasing very soon. Most likely I'll be getting the Rodecaster Video for my travel IRL concept, but then also something I can use for my home studio. Maple, you said you'd have to... Okay, hold on. It's technically one account, but you'd have to test that. That's an auto crop then, but not a separate stream. Yeah. So the built-in YouTube option right now is a single stream key. You would stream, and while in YouTube, there's an option where you can click a toggle to say dual stream, and it'll generate a vertical format for you. However, like I said, that's not the version I want to test out. So within OBS, I do have ATEM vertical, and I did spend some time to kind of create some custom scenes for testing. I then went onto YouTube and created a new stream key called vertical YouTube, which is an RTMP comma variable. Point is, it's a second stream key that I've created, and then I copied the stream code or the stream key into OBS, but that's where everything still falls apart. For some reason, I'm not able to get it to work beyond that. Womp womp. Because I am technically illiterate. Yeah, you can only stream one stream to YouTube, so you need to only stream vertical to YouTube if you want that. No, here's the thing. I was following Nutty's advice, okay? Shout out to Nutty. Actually, you know what? Let's go see if we can pop this guy open. I just wish his name wasn't Nutty. Come on, man. Come on. Nutty vertical stream. Okay, which one did I just watch? Trying out Twitch vertical stream. If you multi-stream. How to stream horizontal and vertical at the same time. Okay, Maple says, if I understand this properly, or you can let YouTube take care of it and you just stream horizontal to YouTube and let YouTube do what it does. I like how you read one message and move on. Well, no, there's no excuse. I was gonna make some bullshit excuse. I was like, oh no, there's some lag and I didn't see the message pop up. I'm like, is that true? Would I be a principled man if I sold a half lie, half truth to you guys? Yeah, no, I just, sometimes you know what? I'll blame it on potential ADHD. Undiagnosed ADHD. But yes, thank you, Maple, for your patience. But yeah, by the way, I am still serious about, if you're open to traveling, every day is one step closer for me to get this whole travel live stream concept up and running. Every day, even today, right? Because I'm over at the event and I'm having chats with people around like, oh, okay, what do you think about the Roadcaster? And I literally did a podcast, right? Today was doing interviews. I was the host. And so it wasn't a live stream, but still kind of seeing them test out. Basically, for this setup, they had a Roadcaster something for the audio switching. Then they had the A10 Mini ISO Pro. And then it was 3 cameras, a Z8, ZR, and a Z6 III. And then just a bunch of random like lighting and stuff like that. And then 2 Rode mics. No, it was Shure SM7B mics, I believe. But anyways, so yeah, I was asking around, and there's some new gear that I'm like super excited to get. And then yeah, Tilta was one of those where I'm like, okay, maybe I need a Tilta. Then they had the Hollyland Pyro something for like a wireless connection to put onto a monitor. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I would have called you on it. Your text shows up on stream. Oh, the ones that pop up here. That's true. Yeah, I can't even lie about it. The more IRL stuff we do, the more solid we can get it technical wise. Also exploring how Starlink will work with Cyronia's Frame project for IRL photography. Yes. And I think I mentioned that to you, Maple, that, I mean, as part of my master plan, Starlink is absolutely a key player in making this possible. Because the places that I travel to, they definitely do not have good reception. So in some areas, I might be able to rely on like a TVU or a live view. And fingers crossed, but I might have a contact with someone who is like a main reseller or actually is like associated with TVU in a particular country in Africa. So possibly maybe I can get some good deals or discounts or something like that. By the way, are you guys hearing an echo? Because I'm hearing something in my ear. And testing. Why do I feel like I'm hearing a slight audio echo? Oh, you know what it is? Maple, another one here. Here's something I tested out on my previous co-working stream. And oh my god, was this fun. It was fantastic. So I did finally test, thank you. And by the way, thank you, Maple. I think you were actually the one who told me what to do. Actually, hold on. Oh yeah, it's fine. Okay, we just have one mic source here. Yeah, I went ahead and hooked up the super long tether USB-C cable I have. You might be monitoring some. No, it's because I had this mic turned on in that scene, so it was like softly picking it up. So it wasn't an echo, but it felt like my words were elongating just slightly. But I tested it with my cats, and the ASMR quality on this thing, or the potential, is it's making me rethink a few things that I could do for fun. Here, for instance, let's switch over to my cat. I said the monitoring comment before you showed the mic. Gotcha. Yeah, no, listen, your intuition's always correct. But in this case, it was just I had a second mic. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let me see. Let's pause the music. Testing. Okay, and I'm going to mute myself on this one. Testing. All right, I need to get Nala to start purring. Good girl. Is that not amazing? And then it seems like I don't have to put the mic too far away to get some ASMR sounds. It just depends where I place it. So a few things I need to do is I need to figure out how to suspend this mic. So I might need to attach it to an arm on my vertical pole here, like my desk pole thing. Or I just attach it to the side of the desk here. But the problem is if my cat's head is over on this side, then the mic is only like stuck in here. Also, I have to keep in mind, placement in terms of the aesthetics. So, but yeah, that's how it sounds. What's up, Obi-Wan? Here, I want to show you guys with Kimbap because he's a lot more purry. So, do some audio tests though to get the mix right though. Yeah, and I do need to figure out. I mean, listen, I'm a noob when it comes to audio design, mixing, and all that. But at the very least, I can show you guys that it seems to work okay. Let me go creep over to Kimbap here. And thank God this USB-C cable is like insanely long. Okay, here we go. Good boy. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys could hear it well or not. The angle was a little bit off for me. But also that was kind of a workout for some reason. Or my ears are heating up. Ooh, look at Nala. Oh no, look at Kimbap. What a doofus. Mapley said just heard it just fine. And again, hello Obi-Wan. Thanks for being here. I was just doing a quick little catch up. It is a late night stream today. Just testing a few things, and some of the tech might not be working because I just kind of rushed in and doing some experimentation. Needs a brushing clearly, dude. Would you believe me if I said I spend the past 2 days I've been spending about 15 minutes to 20 minutes just grooming, and I legit bought a vacuum just for cat hair. I found this product on Amazon, which works pretty well. It's like a somewhat soft vacuum and a long hose, and then you can attach a bunch of different cat grooming products, including like a razor or whatever, like if you want to actually trim his hair or his fur. But in this case, oh, look at this cutie. Look at him. What a cutie. But yeah, so I literally bought a vacuum and I spend about 15 to 30 minutes every day just brushing the shit out of him. And his fur just keeps stacking up and filling up the entire vacuum. So what you're seeing here is even after I've done a bit of grooming. So go as late as you want. It's noon on the East Coast of North America. Yeah, you know what? I really am cucking myself, if I may say so, in terms of my streaming hours. But generally speaking, I have been trying to go to sleep a bit earlier here so that I can feel more productive my time. But also, in case there are different projects that I might need to work on, obviously just having a normal sleep schedule is beneficial. Here, let me just mute this again. But yeah, like technically I should, because even in the first month of streaming, when I was streaming past 10 p.m. until like after midnight, those tended to be like decent hours in terms of viewership, or in terms of like finding new people and all that fun stuff. But these days, I've been ending stream before like 10 p.m. So anyways, some interesting things to keep testing. I would always appreciate advice and all that. But yeah. It's not a bad thing to suggest, Maple. Like, man, I should. It's only 9:30. If I stream past 1 a.m. And then the only thing is tomorrow I have another event, but that doesn't start until I need to leave here around 12:30, 1 p.m. to get to the event. And then I think there might be 2 or 3 interviews that I'm scheduled for in terms of doing the hosting duties. But, we should invent something to pick up the fur, dude. If I can give Kimbap a pill that would just make him go bald, I swear I'd be so happy, you know? Although he is cute with the fur. Guten Abend Dator. Hello. Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for being here on a late nights. And I apologize if I miss a few chats more than regular. I think my YouTube and my Twitch chats are not synchronized perfectly. There's a few things that don't seem to go through. But hopefully I fixed it. And I am trying to test doing this vertical stream on YouTube. And I just haven't figured out how to do this. There's a stream URL. So what if I copy this stream URL? Then let me go to OBS. In the meantime, I'm showing you my cats. So hopefully that's entertaining enough. I go to the vertical canvas. I go to this one that I created. And then it says YouTube server and YouTube stream key. Primary YouTube ingest server. Just pick the first one, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll need to do a bit more digging around. But Maple, I swear that there, at least when I watched the video by Nutty, and the whole point of this whole ATEM vertical and ATEM multi-stream is that you're able to simultaneously do a vertical and landscape stream on YouTube. And then obviously the holy grail for me is I want to test TikTok. Maybe I need to create it. Maybe I have to create it under the main canvas, not the vertical canvas. I'm not sure. Okay, Kimbap is asleep. But anyways, so the whole point I was trying to mention is that the microphone is doing its job. So I didn't know this was powerful enough to do some good ASMR. So my current thinking is maybe I need to, I need to figure out how to hook this up properly. So either it'll be hooked up to my vertical Elgato, what would you call this? Like a vertical pole. And then I would need to get some kind of an arm attachment so that I can just basically have it like lift up here when it's not in use, and the cable I would hide. And then let's say when I'm in ASMR mode, I would just drop this down and put it up to Nala. And you know what? If I can get the quality to be fantastic, primo stuff, then maybe some of you oilers and people with a lot of extra cash flow maybe you guys will pay some extra money to do an ASMR session. So it's like, you pay me money, then I'll bring the mic down, we'll get some ASMR. But yeah, and so that's just some random thoughts. But the ASMR, the reason I was doing that is not necessarily for the stream. It's for my new YouTube channel that I created called Lo-Fi Catnaps. Let me promote myself real quick, because I think I've got all of 11 subscribers there. Lo-Fi Catnaps. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's literally both my cats, and it's a lo-fi channel. But I swear I have some. 95% of this is just because sometimes I'm easily entertained and I get distracted and I work on random shit that I probably shouldn't in terms of prioritization. But the 5% of me that created this channel was thinking strategically of, I have all these cameras, I've spent the time to create some really cool, aesthetically pleasing views, and all I need to do is hit the record button to get hours of footage of my cats sleeping here, doing whatever, and then I would color grade this myself, and then slap some good chill music on in the background and create a number of these videos, rinse and repeat over and over again until I have a proper lo-fi, it's not just lo-fi, but I have a proper slow TV channel where people would subscribe and then listen to hours of study music, sleeping music, or like relaxing music. And the big hook is that I'm trying to say, yo, you know how everyone is nervous and scared, some excitement, but mostly concern about where does AI take us? The concept of AI slop, right? So I'm kind of banking on the future. Let's call it, 6 months, 1 year from now, where people are finally sick and tired of all of the AI slop that's taken over YouTube and whatever other content creation space. And so they want real people, real work. And I'll be like, yes, I'm here for you. You see all those copycat lo-fi girl channels with the AI girl that's being looped over and over again, or those lo-fi cat channels where it's got the animated AI generated visual of a cat sleeping and it's looped? Well, no more. Come join Lo-Fi Catnaps, where there's no AI, real cats being recorded for hours on end. Boom. So anyways, that's kind of like my thought process, but it's been actually fun. It's been fun. So I figure I can make a fourth category of videos of my cats where it'll be, instead of playing music in the background, I'll just record hours of my cats purring and whatever, and that becomes the ASMR mode. Okay, anyways, that's a bunch of random gobbledygook I wanted to share with you guys. What else do I want to say? Well, again, I'm still kind of getting into the swing of things. I guess I'm not the only one. I know, obviously, everyone, hopefully everyone had a wonderful holidays and end of December, and hopefully you guys are getting back into the swing of work. If you guys are in corporate gigs or whatever else, or just in general, now we're back into work mode. So I had taken the past 3 weeks or so off as my mom was visiting for the first time, and so just a bit of like tour guiding plus getting some other work done as needed. And my mom's left. I do have a new guest who's staying with me for the next month to month and a half or so. TBD if they will be comfortable hopping into the stream at some point or not, but just in general, that's another thing I'm trying my best to navigate in terms of timing and being a host physically. And then I have this event. I have the 1 billion follower summit. So the just preparation for it and now actually attending the event and hosting it, that's also taking up a lot of my time. So for those reasons, I don't really feel like I'm back, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to stream right now, just to let you guys know I'm still alive. And also tomorrow I don't have to start super early. So I figured, let me just say hi. And yeah, that's kind of the quick update. Now on last stream, oh wait, I see I need to restart. OBS has also been a bit of a bitch to me lately, where I every time I reopen OBS, I have to like restart a bunch of different applications that I've got. So for instance, I have to restart the studio display monitor because it's frozen, so I'll hit restart. There we go. Now you guys should see my screen properly. And then every time I close OBS, it says it crashes. So I don't know what's going on. I think it's this whole ATEM thing. So I also haven't been able to stream on Kick in quite some time because of ATEM. So this ATEM thing, it better let me do vertical streams. because I feel like every positive that I've received in terms of features from ATEM, there's at least 2 negatives. So yeah, I might have to switch back to Restream. I'm not sure. All right. So anyways, this is what we went over on my first stream back at the start of the year. I just wanted to take some notes, and I think it's not like a unique thing, but I think it might make sense for me to, whether it's on this stream or just over the next few, start to write down what are my goals for 2026. We're at the start of the year, you know, what better time than now to start fresh, put some commitments in. So I've already made a commitment in my Instagram story around my fitness. So, because I went to the gym the other day and I literally almost passed out trying to do a deadlift. And I probably was 89% of the way towards pulling my chest muscle. It was that close. So it made me realize how out of shape I am and how far I've fallen from my peak a few years ago. So I set a goal for myself where, you know, 3 months from now, I had a few PRs to reach in terms of my deadlift weights. And so if I reach it, great. If I don't reach it, I said I'll shave my head off. Again, that phrase doesn't sound right. Shave my head off. Is it correct to say shave my head off? Shave my hair off? Yes, shave my head off is acceptable and common in informal speech, but the more formal is shave my head, or the word off is, I guess, what's making me feel like I'm saying something a bit more gruesome. I'm gonna shave off my hair is what I'm saying, if I don't make my gym goal. But I do also want to kind of write down a few photography goals, editing goals, streaming goals, YouTube goals, and all that. So, but yeah, we went through quite a bit the other stream. We talked about my tattoo, my mom's visit, some of the new YouTube videos that I've released in the past few weeks, some of the editing problems. Now that's also just been quite a trip for me, unfortunately, of just not finding proper help. Sounds weird to say that, but the editors I've tried to enlist in my past few projects have all been, unfortunately, beyond miserable, just the most disappointing and dejecting, because like, why is it so tough? I feel like I'm wasting so much time figuring this out. Fedorevsky's in the chat. Fed says, howdy, yo. Thanks for being here, Fed. Yeah, this is a late night stream, so I appreciate you guys being here, or I guess for some of you guys it's in the morning. David Zino, let me just check my YouTube just to make sure everything is synced up again. And Mindful Grinds, oh yo, everyone's coming in. Hey, David says, hi Abel, great work. Would you change a Z8 for the ZR for wildlife, both filmmaking and photography? Well, thank you for the question. And actually, you got a few people in the chat right now who have the Nikon ZR. We made a whole, the past, couple months, ever since the ZR launched, I've met a few awesome people in the chat, in this community, who are filmmakers. So if I don't have a good answer, there will be people in the chat who will provide some good answers as well. David, before I fully give my suggestion or my thoughts there, let me also take this moment to plug my Discord channel. So David, feel free to join the Discord channel. I'm looking to continue building out a community here where if you have these kinds of questions, if you want to share your work, you can do all of that in that Discord channel. So just recapping, you asked, would I change a Z8 for a ZR for wildlife? And you're talking both on the photography and the filmmaking side. Filmmaking, 1000%. To the point, I own a Z9, Z6 III, and a ZR. So for example, this is the ZR. Now, this is not the best quality because, again, this is for streaming purposes, but I'm using the ZR right now for my main selfie cam. And then we've got my Nikon Z6 III with the 50mm 1.2 lens for one of my cats, which you see here. And then for this one here, let me just move this mic out of the way. Here is Nala, and I'm using my Nikon Z9 with the 24-70mm f2.8 lens. So those are my 3 kits. And when I travel before the ZR, it was always the Z9 was my main for wildlife, both photo and video. And then I was traveling with the Z6 III as my secondary camera for like, you know, it would fit in my side bag and I would use it for more day-to-day shoots. So if there's like vlogging moments or just quick moments, I would use that. And the Z9 was my powerhouse. Since the ZR, I've absolutely had to kind of rethink what my future travel kit would mean. The ZR has now most likely become my primary for everything to do with video. For photo, I would not choose the ZR over a Z8 because the Z8, Z9, what is like 50 megapixels, something like that. It's got for photography on wildlife, I really need as many of those shortcut buttons as possible because of the intricacies of the different wildlife you might spot. So I need the ability to quickly switch between, you know, memory banks or switching between like bird shooting with like 120 frames per second capture, or like the pre-shooting capture. What do you call it? The pre-release capture mode, or switching over to, you know, for typical wildlife, for various points, like things, and then having extra shortcut buttons if I need to override my focus if the focusing isn't doing its job, and then I have some manual focus buttons, stuff like that. So anyways, the more shortcut buttons on the camera, the better when it comes to photography for me. So I would be using the Z8 for wildlife photography and the ZR for wildlife filmmaking. And I'm sure I would end up using the ZR for wildlife photo as well, but those would be secondary. Like, it's more like if I don't want to miss the moment and switch over to my other camera, I would just quickly get some photos of the same moment. But obviously for me, I want to use the Z8 or the Z9. Mindful Grind says, hey buddy, hello from Wisconsin again. Well, good morning. I guess Wisconsin time, what would that be? Is Wisconsin near Chicago? I'm gonna guess right now Wisconsin is maybe 8 a.m. No, let's go. Yeah, shoot, I don't know. Let's say it's about 11 a.m. your time. I could be wrong. But welcome, good morning or early afternoon. Thanks for being here on our late night. 11:30. Ooh, I was close. Nice. No cheating over here. Obi-Wan says back, got busy. Well, listen, we're all busy. I do appreciate it's awesome that you guys are here with me. Let's switch over to the editing mode. I don't know if I'll get through some of the editing, but I also do want to catch you guys up on some of the work that I've done, some of the things I do need to work on, and I need to get back into travel vlog video editing, right? We still have Mongolia part 2 that I need to edit, and then we've got like 10 different countries that I haven't been able to go through. So I'm trying to be more mindful, about grinding. So thank you, Mindful Grinds. Fed says, yeah, ZR only has touch shortcuts, okay for video, but wildlife photos it's not fast enough. Yeah, so David, it's not the cleanest answer, unfortunately, like of saying like I don't think the ZR will be a one camera system if you try to do both filmmaking and photography. Like if you're doing serious photography, right? Like I will rely on the ZR for photography, but I don't think I'll feel comfortable using it as a pro wildlife photography camera. So just can like the 24 megapixel camera compared to the 50. I am the farthest away from like a technical wizard on anything. You can ask anyone who's been in this community so far. I don't know anything. I know bum whatever. The only thing I know is I've gone on a few trips when I was traveling with the Z9 and the Z6 III, and the Z6 III has the same sensor as the ZR. There were moments where I captured some wildlife with the Z6 III and it was fine, but in certain circumstances where the lighting conditions aren't the best, I desperately wished I had the Z9 with the 400mm or whichever lens attached to get the same capture moment, because you could just feel that the moment you start to kind of like zoom in on the shot, it just gets a bit fuzzy compared to the clean shots you get from like a Z9. And I don't know if it's to do with megapixels or, again, not the technical wizard, but from practice, from actual use, I felt that I just would feel like it's a downgrade from using a Z9 or a Z8 to using a ZR for photography. For film, oh my god, it's like I said, as good as the Z9 is, I would 1000% prefer using the ZR for anything to do with film, with like, you know, filmmaking, video stuff. So yeah, completely different ends of the extreme. Mindful says, I really need a good photo camera. I considered a Z9 Mark II when it comes out. Oh yeah, I haven't heard any of the rumors, but really want to add a Red KX. Is KX Komodo something? If the Z9 Mark II does great R3D, then maybe would still get that. Oh man, that's a good question. I wonder if Nikon will bite the bullet there and just give everyone R3D on the Z9. You know what? Not that I work for their corporate strategy team or whatever, or marketing team. I feel like that would be a good play, right? Because they've already milked the ZR for as much as they can by having it at the certain cost and having all the features built in. So I think people are still going to flock to the ZR, mainly even if it's just for the price, and that's good enough for a lot of people. And now if you come up with a new camera, the Z9 Mark II, and provide the R3D, that's just a goodwill gesture. Would it cannibalize people getting the ZR? Maybe, but a Z9 with R3D, with some of the other film features that are in the ZR, would absolutely make me want to go back to just using the Z9, right? But I'll use the ZR as my secondary backup. And if they use the same language, if it's both the same color signs, even better. So I hope that Nikon is treating their next launches selfishly for someone like me, where it's like a 1-2 punch shooter, like a 1-2 punch travel shooter, where I have a primary and a secondary whenever I'm going around. Fed at 11:30, Fed says if you're only doing, say, landscapes, it is probably fine for photos too, unless you really want more resolution. Yeah, I think if it's like static shots where you can have it on a tripod and you can kind of control some of your lighting situation, that's fine. But like when you're on the go, for me, when I do my wildlife and you're on a moving Jeep, or it's low light because the animals don't appear until it's annoyingly dark, in those circumstances, the Z9, I just want to, that's the one I rely on all the time. So David says, really helpful insights, thanks for the answer. Well, I hope it was helpful. I don't think I gave like I don't know if I gave the answer you want or a clean one, because I wouldn't say, if you told me gun to my head, you have to choose one camera, like you literally can only use one camera going forward, what would you use? And at that point, it just all depends on, do you care more about filmmaking or photography? Videography or photography? Right now in my career, filmmaking is the thing that I love learning the most. I need the most, what do you say? Or like with learning photography and like getting more creative with it and stuff, I think I'm at the diminishing returns point where every day I develop the skills, I'm not really gaining that much more from where my current state of mind is. Whereas with video, every day I'm like consuming some kind of new skill, technique, or whatever about filmmaking. I'm like feeling I'm getting leaps of knowledge gained each time, with the excitement that comes with it, with the motivation, all that. So I'm very much in filmmaking mode. So I would choose a ZR over the Z9 if I had to choose one camera going forward for everything. Red Komodo X says, Mindful, got it. Having 16-bit video on the Red Komodo X with the crop global sensor is fantastic for wildlife. Also having 4K 120. 4K 120, is that where they don't crop it? Because I know with the ZR, you still get that bit of a crop factor. And this 80 FPS, I've never shot 80 frames per second. That sounds great. Oh my god. If I could get the holy grail camera and lens combo, I guess it would be the 300mm f2.8. I think that would be the sweet spot. I have the 400 2.8. I think 300 would be just perfect for what I want. If I had a 300 f2.8 lens with a red color science camera that shoots 6K at 80 frames per second, that is perfect. Because like, you know, as a wildlife shooter, I love shooting at 120 frames per second. If I can shoot 240 frames per second, even crazier. But realistically, when I shoot at 60 frames, I tend to get pretty decent shots in slow motion. So if I can just get that extra little bit of frames without it going all the way to 100 or whatever, a global shutter for most use cases I have. Interesting. I haven't I don't think I think I have all just full frame everything. Interesting. I've never tried that. Fed says in DX I can also shoot 120. Yeah, the 120 is fantastic. The 240, there's a few trips back to back that I went on where I was shooting with the Z6 III. And man, shooting in that HD 240 frames was amazing. And then what I would do is I would then take that footage, put it through Topaz so I could upscale it to 4K. So I don't, like, again, not technical wizard, but in terms of the output, I'm supposedly getting a 4K 240 frames per second video. And to my eyes, I can't really distinguish. It seems pretty good. Like, I think the upscaling on Topaz was pretty good. I'm not sure how DaVinci's gotten. I feel like DaVinci's latest firmware updates have also come with some really cool upgrades, including, I think, for like upscaling. I'm not sure. Fed says the red Komodo... DX I can also shoot 120 frames per second, 4K. Got it. Mindful, you said the red Komodo X is a Super 35 global sensor. There's no crop at any other resolution. Wow. Okay. 80 frames at 6K, 96 frames at 5K, and 120 at 4K. Yeah, those are great numbers. Man. I've been spoiled with the ZR for that recent shoot that I did where I feel like I want to shoot everything at 6K now, even knowing how much of a drain that will be on my memory cards. Oh, hey, hold on. So anyways, there's one more video I want to make as part of my YouTube series. So in the past month that I've been off of streaming, I have been using my time wisely, I swear. And that included making a bunch of new YouTube videos. So hopefully you guys will check out those videos on my YouTube channel. I made a string of like a bunch of just like casual watching videos. I also have a 5-hour video that I still need to release. But 5 hours of the chimpanzees in slow motion. Where are these guys? So I have a few more of these kind of cuts that I can make, because obviously I have plenty of footage from this recent Chimp Island Sanctuary project that I was on. So one of the next videos I want to make, actually I should go to my YouTube channel. Mindful says yes, the ZR is pretty good, great for short stuff, but I do need a more commercial rig for long form. ZR is just my run and gun camera. Yeah, I think run and gun is the proper way to kind of describe it. Let's go to Yobel Prize. That's me. All right, so here's what your boy's been up to in the past number of days. I first launched my dehancer video called Can One Plugin Replace Your Entire Grade? So hopefully you guys check it out. It's about almost 11 minutes long, and it comes with an opening trailer. I also published the trailer on its own, so if you'd like to check that out. Unfortunately, I'm not going to play here because I always get hit by the copyright. Yeah, so this was one of those kind of feel good, feel bad moments, because the feel good, I'm really proud of the video. I'm happy I finally got it done. The feel bad that I mentioned on my prior stream is that this video was supposed to be released over a month ago, a month prior to when I released it, at least. Unfortunately, I ended up with another editor who sold me a bill of goods that they couldn't cash out. Is that the phrase? Am I just making up stuff? Sold me a bill of goods that they couldn't cash out. I think I'm just mixing shit up. You've been sold a bill of goods that didn't deliver on its promise. Okay, so I just made up the last part. Point is, I was sold a bill of goods and they did not deliver, and they got my money. So it was excruciating. I've already kind of gone into it. It feels bad a little bit to kind of shit on people when they can't defend themselves, but it's not like I'm outing them per se. But it's now 3 editors in a row technically, where there's been some things that I felt were above and beyond in terms of dishonest, about lack of communication, just like the bare minimum of yeah, anyways, I think I've gone into it before. Point is, this video that should have come out over a month ago, the editor really royally effed up so many things, didn't deliver on so many things that they said they could do or their resume said. So ultimately, I had to kind of take this project back myself, and I did the whole opening trailer. I had to basically redo a lot of the stuff that they did, and I only kept a few things that they did that I just couldn't override, or I just didn't have the time to figure out how to do in the edits. Like, for instance, when I'm sharing my screen and I'm editing in DaVinci, they cropped a part where they zoom in on it so you can more. I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't want to waste time learning. So that I kept from them. Everything else I had to freaking do myself again. So anyways, that feels bad because I missed a few opportunities where I could have promoted MusicBed, which is the sound platform I used to make this video, for like the Black Friday deals that they had, but I missed it. It is what it is. And then since my mom's been here, I did kind of start, I mentioned, taking a little bit of chunks of key thematic moments from the Chimp Island project that I filmed with the ZR. So you'll have one called The March of the Chimps, and it's just, I took, I think it's like, yeah, it's about 5 minutes. I took some nice moments, cinematic moments of the chimps when they're marching in the tunnel. Then I had a 5-minute clip of the mother chimp and her baby. Then I had the sounds of chimpanzees, so this is where I just kind of showcased the 32-bit flow audio of the ZR. Then I had a few minutes of the chimps when they're in the water, and the final one I had published was just a lot of moments of the Dr. Rakundo, when he was out in the forest and he's like feeding the chimps or gaining their trust or just kind of bonding with them. So I figured that's a nice little moment on its own. And the one final one that I think I want to work on, and I figure I can do it on the streams, is I want to take a few chunks of footage of the babies, like the baby chimps, like when they're playing together. There's one iconic moment, in my opinion, where you see one of the baby chimps continuing to roll backwards over and over and over again. So I just want to take a bunch of those moments, and whatever the title is, something about to be young again, or, you know, something about just being playful. So that's probably the last one that I'm going to be publishing. And then we'll get back into like travel vlog mode. So what is up, Brandon? Hey, yo, Brandon, thanks for being here. Happy Friday, yo, Bell, he says. You're right, it is Friday. Happy Friday. I don't know what time it is over there for you. It is now almost 10 p.m. here in Dubai. So thanks for being here, BC. Thanks to everyone for hanging out. Yo, I was just saying this earlier, and I guess we kind of see it now. Yeah, you guys are all hopping in at this time. So I do need to stream more of these hours when it's like early morning, afternoon over in the US. But yeah, like I said, that's the other thing. I'll slowly work on a bunch of things that I need to, including reworking my streaming hours. I am doing more like co-working streams as well, so look forward to that. I just got a message on my computer saying my disk is almost full. So I need to be very careful here. I think the reason is I need to delete my rendered cache. So let's delete all of that. Hopefully that will fix it, because it's saying I am basically fully used up. So if my stream crashes, it's because I've run out of memory in my PC, because I must have downloaded too many things, or I gotta delete some stuff. My info says, I filmed a few parades with the ZR already. Definitely recommend the R3D. The H.265 HLG is okay, but the R3D simply is far sharper. The color is better as well. Yeah, that's good to know. And you know, there you go, because there's a few people who would ask about that in the early days after the launch. And to me, it was just one of those like, man, if I'm spending the money to get this ZR, which is supposed to be about like, you know, using red color science, and it's meant to have a bunch of the cinema features, I just, unless I'm forced to, I would want to never shoot in any mode besides R3D. Maybe I'll settle for like, the NRAW, because at least there, we're looking at comparable 12 bits. But yeah, it's like, if I'm gonna get this camera, I don't want to. I wish I knew anything about cars, but it'd be like saying getting a Ferrari, but then you're only using that car to do something. Someone will finish that metaphor analogy for me. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. Fed says, yeah, I only use the R3D. There's something about the contrast too that looks much better also compared to the NRAW. Yeah, I should probably do a 1-to-1 test sometime soon on my next shoot, just to kind of see, like, if I film the same moment with the NRAW versus R3D, what differences do I see in different environments? The only noticeable thing that I paid attention to, or it was noticeable, so I didn't have to pay attention. I mentioned it before, when I was in the Chimp Island, when I was filming outdoors, the fact that so many moments in the moment, I was like, okay, the shot's not going to look good because I'm shooting directly against the sun. It's probably going to be overexposed or underexposed. And just the ability when I went back into DaVinci and I was able to see the dynamic range was so impressive. And it was definitely not achievable when I was shooting in NRAW before. So I don't know if that's, yeah. So either way, with the ZR, at least in R3D mode when I was shooting, the dynamic range was amazing, like noticeably more impressive than shooting with the Z9, Z8s, or whatever else. I only use the R3D. Yeah. I never shoot 10-bit if I can help it. I don't like the response when grading. I have taken the R3D and after the edit have transcoded the R3D. Okay, so you took the R3D, transcoded it into nlog H.265 for archive. Oh, wait, interesting. Because that isn't one of the issues I'm running into. I was just mentioning, right? I ran out of freaking memory space on my computer. Let me empty my trash. Hopefully I'm okay. Oh, you know what? And then my screen crashed again, or it's not refreshed. There we go. So I think, usually I think my memory gets crazy filled up if I turned on render cache in DaVinci, and it just happened to take a bunch of stuff that it shouldn't. But yeah, if my computer crashes, just know it's probably because of this. Let me see. Render. Okay, good. Good. You know what? Let me close DaVinci and then we'll pop it back open in a second. I tend to archive in Avid DNHR 12-bit SQ. Still a bit large, but I like to keep it 12-bit. Okay, you guys are saying things that sounds very reasonable, and I need to think about how does that change my workflow, or how I should change my workflow. Beatty's in the chat. Hello, Beatty. Welcome back. Happy New Year. I think this might be the first stream I'm seeing you in the new year. So welcome. This is my second normal stream of the year. And today I'm doing quite a late night stream, so we've only been streaming for about an hour. I've had this event that I'm doing like podcast hosting for a company out here for the next 2 days. So it's a 3-day event here in Dubai. It's called the 1 Billion Follower Summit. So it's like, I barely know what's going on, but it's, a bunch of speakers, presentations, a bunch of companies that are here with their booths to sell gear and tech and stuff for creators. So I'm there in one of those booths running a few interviews with some content creators. But yeah, I had the first day today, and since I came back, I figured why not? Let's do a bit of a stream just to say hi to you guys, catch you guys up to speed. And then, yeah, so the next 2 days, you may or may not see me. But then after this event's done, I'm back on the grind, back to proper hours, multi hours of streaming and catching up, and I have so much video content to get through. So yeah, you guys will get sick of me. But good day, BD. Thanks for being here. Happy New Year to you too, says BD. Mindful said that, okay, I tend to, that way you can get a great final product, but still have a sharper version with slightly less adjustable archive footage later on. Yeah, because the issue I run into is obviously, let's say if I film in the ZR, let's say I have my original R3D file, then when I'm editing it, depends on the project, but sometimes those files are so heavy, it overloads my DaVinci and all that kind of stuff. So then I either have to like compress it or render, or whatever, all the annoying things. Then when I export the project, usually the exported version ends up being like a 4K blah, blah, blah for YouTube. But there might be moments where I will export now in 6K, or maybe I want to keep the original raw footage, and then I have to dump it into an external storage device. But yeah, man, this thing, it just eats up all of my space. So I do need to kind of figure out, as I'm getting back into travel mode, I got to figure out what to do. Yo, Kevin is in the chat. Kevin, thank you very much for resubber 5 damn months. Damn, 5 months, says Kevin. Man, has it been 5 months? We're in January. When did I start streaming? It was like August. But welcome, Kevin. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your support. I obviously appreciate it very much. Yes, streamed 5 months ago is my first stream. Damn. Yo, Kevin, you're a real one. That means you've been here with me. You're a day oneer, okay? Which is obviously, well, all of you guys, by the way, you guys are all like the OGs. So just you guys wait. It may take a year. It may take 10 years, but let's go with 1 year. We're gonna hit it big, right? We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep on the grind. Like I said, the big thing is I'm gonna be starting to go into travel live streaming, right? And even today's event was in parts working on my relationship with this distributor who sells, all the gear that I would need, like the Roadcasters, the ATEMs, the microphones, the Rode mics, the Hollyland mics, Tilta, or the small rigs, and all the other accessories that I would need. So hopefully, as I continue to buy Goodwill, I will at the very least get some good discounts on those products, and then I'm putting it all together as we speak. And I've also been in chats with some safari lodges where I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I would be able to get them to let me stay for a number of days, complimentary, because doing wildlife safari is never cheap, right? You're talking, sometimes it's like $1,000+ per day to stay at some of these lodges and do like a private Jeep safaris. So hopefully with my connections and relationships, and with some of the goodwill that I've built up, I can do my first pilot doing a travel IRL wildlife live stream. That was a mouthful. I call it the wildlife streams, but basically I want to do that. We're going to go out there, and I swear if we do this properly, this is going to be a next big jump for me in terms of like opportunities and some fun stuff we can do. But yes, Kevin, you are the founder edition. You guys are all technically founder edition, but the fact that you have been subbed to me for 5 months, that's I will have to make it up to you. The fact that you're willing to spend money to me. I don't know what's crazier, people who spend money to support me, or in this case, you guys spending hours, your time to support me or be entertained by me. So either way, it's like it's a really encouraging thing. So thank you guys. Fed says you can always pick lower resolution debayer. I've seen that word before. I think I said it to something where override something debayer. Debayer in the raw menu just while grading to make it run better. Okay. That's a great attitude to have for, where'd it go? That's a great attitude to have for the new year. Listen, always have a good attitude. You know what? Life is just better if you're optimistic, I say. Because it's like, what are you going to do? You can't change the future. And if you're a negative Nancy about it all, you'll still have the same future, if not worse, because you didn't manifest it, as they say. And you were in a shitty mood the whole way. So what the hell? Yeah. Where was I? Client shoots. Yeah, we got to do this chimp thing. Fed says, can pick both lower resolution and lower debayer quality in the menu. Okay, I need to do that. I'm in playback. I can just choose the quarter. Usually that's fine enough, to be honest. It was more like when I do this render cache, if I'm not careful, because of all the 6K, 8K footage that I have, it ends up draining all of my storage, my memory on the computer. So I think I solved it for now. Yeah. Oh yeah, it took up over 1.5 terabytes. So basically my cache had about 1.5 terabytes and it just caught up to my PC. BD says, I'm currently procrastination packing for my project these next 2 weeks, heading to Taiwan in 6 days. Ooh, that sounds like a fun project. Damn. Well, I wish you the best. I've been there. I'm always there when it comes to procrastinating with packing. But you're saying you're heading there in 6 weeks. Sorry, 6 days. So the fact that you're packing now is already 6 days faster than it takes me to pack for a trip. Usually I'm packing like the day of or 24 hours prior. Fez says, just remember to force it to render highest quality when rendering. Okay. Yeah, I think I always hit that toggle to always do the highest quality. Mindful says, I do not yet have DaVinci, so I've been using Final Cut Pro. It works actually quite well on my 2019 Mac Pro. Oh yeah, there was a new update on DaVinci, because I remember one of the issues was that if you filmed anything in Apple ProRes, it would not be compatible with DaVinci. But my understanding is in one of the latest firmwares, now you can upload your Apple ProRes RAW files without issues. I would love to see Final Cut Pro being able to read the NRAW files. And I don't know if this new R3D NE files, I think someone had said it. Yes, it's possible. But I remember one of the annoying things was that for NRAW, the .nev files, only DaVinci could read it, which is, I say annoying, is actually a blessing in disguise, because obviously that was one of the reasons I decided to switch over to DaVinci. And now I love DaVinci. I feel like it seems to be the editing tool of choice for color grading and like this kind of cinematography. So far, right? That's the feeling I get. So yeah, it's good to get your training wheels at some point from DaVinci. But also Final Cut. I used to use Final Cut Pro. It felt way more intuitive to me when I was using Final Cut, but maybe it was just actually, I don't know. I'm happy with DaVinci now though. Quarter is fine. It's just if I use some very heavy effects in DaVinci, it runs smooth unless I add too much post-processing like that. Regular heavy grading works fine. Got it. Okay, so anyways, what are we doing? Well, like I said, I have one more video I think I can make with all of these chimp files that I've got. And that would be trying to go through, I want to go through all the footage, excuse me. I want to go through all the footage and find any footage I have of the baby chimps, not the ones with the mother, because we've already kind of showcased it. So it's really, I'm just trying to find any clips of the baby in like playful mode and see if I have enough of those clips to turn into a standalone, let's call it like what, 3-minute, 5-minute video. And then it just becomes another quick video that I can post on YouTube. One other thing I maybe we'll talk about on this stream, but I'm also getting tired. I want to talk about goals for my YouTube. Oh yeah, my YouTube strategy, right? So I want to kind of start, I've already thought through a bunch of things, but I figure I should say it in these streams to hold myself accountable, but then also let you guys know. And if you guys think it's a dumb idea, you guys can help push back on it. But anyways, these are a few things I need to figure out. Now, unfortunately, this YouTube strategy got delayed because unfortunately, I don't have a freaking editor yet. So I need to go back to the drawing board. Right now, I am working on the script for one more video that would be a good task for an editor to take on. So hopefully third time's a charm, as they say. So anyways, but as part of that strategy, I figure I want to post a quick like 3 to 5 minute video of some of the baby chimp footage that I have. And then, yeah, and each video that I publish like this, The hope is that obviously if you get new audience or new viewers watching it, maybe it's a hook for them to watch my documentary film or to watch my review on the ZR or blah, blah, blah. Just get sucked into my channel. So Fed says no. Mindful says that is editing at full resolution and quality with ProRes 4:2 LT playback. Fed says you usually don't want to go under quarter though. The image looks really weird, making it hard to see what you're doing. Yeah, I've noticed like if I'm using it in this quarter mode, everything becomes a bit fuzzier. Yeah, so definitely something to keep in mind. For now, I think we can go into half resolution. Because I'm just kind of speeding through. I just want to find all the clips of the babies and see which ones we can use. This might be a clip to use. Fed's talking about plane grading without proxies. You can lower the debayer quality to make the R3D files run smoothly instead of making proxies. Both methods work. Okay, I need to look at this debayer thing. I've never seen it here. I've just saw it in the export tab. Chill and Connect is here. Oh, wait, no. Chill and Connect. I remember now. Chill and Connect. Wait, no. Chill and Connect. Why did I think that was I thought Mindful and Chill were the same. Hold on. Chill and Connect. Chill and Connect. I apologize. I seem to remember Chill and Connect has a different profile name, maybe on Twitch. Is the thought process I have. But anyways, thanks for being here. Chill. Thanks for chilling with us and connecting with us. Mindful says, welcome to Club Yobel, where we flex Nikon and bang out edits. Yo, I got Cloud AI over the holidays, and Cloud AI right now is actually helping me. Well, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Cloud AI, they are all helping me create a mobile app. Yes, your boy is being a dumbass, and instead of focusing on just the one YouTube channel that I need to make successful, I'm currently working on a second YouTube channel with all of 11 subscribers, and I'm spending a lot of time just having fun building that up when I should be focusing on Yobel Prize. And I'm spending some time learning how to vibe code and create a mobile app for some completely non-photography related idea, but an idea that I think is good for personal reasons. But anyway, so I'm kind of like stretching myself thin a bit more. But Cloud has been so much fun. I asked Cloud for, because you mentioned flexing Nikon and like the, you know, if you guys remember, I was talking about it'd be great if I can find a way to have a little badge icon or something for all of you guys who have submitted, most likely through Discord. If you've like said in Discord, there's a questionnaire, let's say when you join my my channel, where it says, what team are you? Are you team Nikon, team Canon, Sony, Fujifilm, Leica, blah, 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 right? And then once you choose it, it'd be cool if there's a dedicated icon to represent each of those teams. And then when you're chatting, at least in Discord, the hope is that it would show up on your username. So it's almost like a constant, like, hey, we got team XYZ, right? And then what I was thinking is if it's not possible to have that show up on my live stream as like part of the chat overlay, maybe I still can create something with Cloud or with these AIs to just keep a running track or somehow plug into my Discord to be like, okay, as of today, or if you put a command in the chat, it would tell you, here's the running tally. There are 9 Nikon, Team Nikon. There are 7 Team Sony, 3 Blackmagic, XYZ, whatever. And so I think AI will help me come up with that. So yeah, and then we can flex Nikon together. I'm the person who was here for the AWS when they were down. Oh, that's right. Yo, welcome back. Man, that was a random good day for me. Like AWS goes down, and I think I put that in my stream title, something about AWS is down, and then I got a bunch of new viewers hopping in my chat who were there to like troubleshoot or like, like chill and connect, who knew a lot more about this situation or were monitoring it. And so then I happened to just get a few guys to follow me. So what a good day for me. We need AWS to go down more often. Chill says, with the Nikon ZR, I also went with buying the Blackmagic Speed Editor, so I'm learning a ton. I've never heard of that. Blackmagic Speed Editor. Speed Editor. Can confirm we're 2 separate people. Well, look, I'm happy to hear that. The more people watching my stream that are individuals and not copycats, I listen. Thank you. Fed says when it says quarter good or quarter full, etc., the good means it's good to bear, and full means it's full to bear. No, I'm saying I have never even seen the word good, full, or to bear in DaVinci. The only time I see the word to bear was when I was in the actual export tab or the deliver tab. Where is, let's see, de bear. Yeah, because like in my options, I just see full, half, quarter. I see manage render cache. I see proxy handling. Use optimized media if available. Fusion memory cache. Yeah, I don't see anything about this like debayer thing. But I mean, it's not a big deal. I haven't really run into too many like show stopping issues with playback. Okay, but Mindful says to chill, I considered the speed editor, but instead we'll just buy Resolve and then get a tour box. So much more convenient than speed editor. Yo, you guys are introducing me to so many new things. Tour box versus speed editor. Oh, okay, speed editor. So it's like a physical key. It's like one of those shortcut keyboards. Damn. Okay. And then what is the tour box? Tourbox, one word. Tourbox Elite Plus Review. Oh my god. Don't get me started on this. Hold on a second. I need to stop. I have so much money. I'm going to spend thousands of dollars in the coming weeks for this whole travel live stream concept. I cannot afford, literally, and I can't afford to get distracted with these cool ass gadgets, which I think would be really fun and functional. But that toolbox thing looked great. So did the speed editor. But Mindful, okay, let me reread that. So you said, I considered the speed editor, but instead we'll just buy Resolve and then get a toolbox, which is more convenient, you say, than the speed editor. Okay. Fed says the reason BRAW runs so smooth compared to R3D and NRAW, for example, in DaVinci is because it's already partly debayered. And I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. Debayered in camera when filming, so your rig has much less work to do when playing BRAW. Okay, go into the RAW menu. That's where you pick it at the top. RAW menu? Are we talking the same language here? Are you talking about within DaVinci or are you talking about in the camera itself? Chill says, I considered the toolbox, but I wanted to get rid of my Adobe sub. I know the speed editor only works with Resolve, but it also comes with Resolve Studio. Okay. Wow, here I am just using my mouse when I could be using some fancy-ass gadgets. Okay, this was a clip I wanted to quickly pause and see if we should use it. Yeah, so it's mostly blurry, but I think it's fine to use. Just capturing a moment of fun. Damn, I was really out of focus for a lot of this though. Tracking motion was good, my focusing was not. Okay, so let's create a new timeline. And I think we'll make everything 6K. So we'll go 6K, 24 frames. To be young again. Until I come up with a better title for this, this is just going to be called To Be Young Again, and it's just a bunch of young chimps having fun, being playful. We'll make it... Oh, I should memorize this by now. What is the... I think it's 6048 by 3452? I don't know. And we'll make this 24 frames per second. Most likely I'll end up slowing down the footages. 3402. God dang it. I was close. 3402. And then let's drag it over next to this one. Okay. And then let's copy this guy over. Okay. So I'm just going to copy and paste a bunch of these the baby chimp footage into a new timeline. What camera is this? Okay, sorry. Let's see here. The raw menu in DaVinci is to the left in color page. Raw menu in DaVinci to the left in color page. Oh, the camera raw thing. I never use this. Oh shit, am I missing out on some quality primo editing techniques here? I see the decode. I don't see debayer. It says decode quality. And I do see the option here that says full res premium, half res good. Okay, so then when you said the whole debayer thing, it has to do with this word good. So you're saying you would use quarter resolution good? I have to reread your chat from earlier. Man, okay, none of what you said before was like, I was not on the same page. When it says quarter good or quarter full, the good means it's good to bear and full means it's full to bear. So you're saying what? I should be using quarter resolution good at times? Okay, anyways. Chill, you asked what camera is this using? So everything you're seeing in this project timeline is from the Nikon ZR. I was in Uganda on this island. It's like a chimp island sanctuary. So I was filming for a project. And so these are all of the footage that I put together of the chimps that I kind of slowed down and I color graded within DaVinci. Now I'm just kind of going back into it to just select a few shots that are thematic. So like I said, some of these kind of baby shots. This one I might bring over because I didn't add this to the mother and baby chimp video. So I could put it here. So let's drag it in here. And it looks to be of decent quality. Let's see. You have to choose the clip first. Got it. The full Resolve editor keyboard editor is not bad. $700 though. The Toolbox works with all the editors. Okay. With the physical editing devices, I think it's all personal preference and what you want to use it for. If you are grading photos in Adobe Lightroom, the Toolbox is fantastic to just hover over your wheels and you can adjust so easy. It's more versatile. Okay. And Fed was saying if I want to adjust it, I just got to choose the clip first and then do the debayer thing. Got it. Okay. All right, so I was kind of multitasking, but yeah, I think this footage is fine. It looks clean, slow motion, so we'll add that to the list. What else do we got? There we go. Please tell me it's in focus. Yes. All right, most of this is usable, although it is kind of cropped because I think I hit the stabilization button on this, obviously, so... but you know what? We're not striving for perfect. We just want to show some action shots. And then I can always restabilize or we'll double check later. This is less of the refinement phase and we're just kind of picking clips for now. So I think this clip for sure. We got a little baby chimp with the little leaf in its mouth. Let's see this one. Okay, this one can work as well. What about this one? Oh, this one's better. This one, quality-wise, seems a bit better. And the chimp is a bit more animated. But yeah, I'll bring both over. Yeah, we got 5 hours of this kind of footage. Not a bad price for the $475. Speed editor plus the full version of Resolve was very compelling. Look at this adorable little chimp with the big ears. You know, adorable, yes. But who is more adorable? My goddamn cats. Let me go bother. Where's her head? Is that her head? Yeah, belly. Head. Nope. Jesus, I don't even know my own cat. There you are. Good girl. Kimpop. Good boy. You're a little too far for me to pet. He didn't even care. It is what it is. You can't color grade with the speed editor. I do have a separate mouse. I think Blackmagic wants you to buy each of their hardware products for each step of the process if you want to physically touch. Okay. Like I said, man, that's a purchase for Q2 of this year. I'm about to spend, because, okay, here's my shopping list. I need to buy the Rodecaster, most likely, it's going to be the Rodecaster Video. Maybe the Rode mics, at least one set of Rode mics, possibly the Hollyland Lark Max M2 or some crazy naming. Because that one I think I can get a good discount through the company that I'm working with. I need a Nanook case, like the Nanook being like a competitor to Pelican, but like basically a flight case, which I'll need to custom rig and get like a aluminum base plating, and then I have to just be able to put the switchers in there and the mini PC, blah blah blah. The mini PC I bought already, which is on my desk. You just can't see it. I need to purchase small rig equivalent stuff to rig up cameras to a moving vehicle, and I need some lighting for it. All the cabling, like the HDMI cables, the micro HDMI to HDMI, blah blah blah. So there's a bunch of random shit. Oh yeah, not to forget the Starlink. I need to purchase a Starlink, and I need to purchase or rent a TVU kit depending on where I go. So, and each of those are like thousands of dollars. So you get my point. We're looking at multi-thousands of dollars of gear that I need to either purchase or hopefully rent if it's more economical. Speed editor is for editing quickly. Your cats are like salad bowls. Yo, maybe, I guess. I have one, but I never really used it. I think Fed, if I remember, was it you who said like you made a purchase before and they gave you like some DaVinci thing to, as part of it? Chill says, I have a Nanook case. They're great. I've used a Nanook case one time and it was amazing. Now, I'm from the US, so I don't know if it's like a Western thing, but I feel like in the States, Pelican is the brand of choice. So either Nanook is like a more international competitor, or it's not as popular as Pelican. But I used it and it was fantastic. I don't really know, like, on the technical elements, like how much better is one brand over the other. But the Nanook would work for my uses because I'm looking for something that's carry-on size, that I can put all the gear, but I also need to destroy the case because my goal is to create a ventilation system. So I need the ability to drill a hole into the case, and I'm assuming I would need two holes, one for like an intake. So I would need one fan that draws in air to keep everything cool inside the case, and then I need one fan that blows all the hot air out, I think. So I am basically damaging the integrity of the case itself. So it's not meant to be something I toss into check-in bags, but it will, serve the purpose. Kevin, wait, hold on. Let's see. Mindful says, look up the Rodecaster Video S. Yes, actually, who suggested that to me? Someone suggested that I should look at the Rodecaster Video S. I forget who it was, but someone had suggested that to me, and I was grateful because I did research that, and the Rodecaster Video S looks amazing. The only reason I'm not getting that one, though, is I think I need the Rodecaster Video, because the S, which I thought stood for like whatever, but it stands for small, I guess, or it's like a smaller version of the Rodecaster Video. And so the Rodecaster Video S doesn't have enough inputs for my concept, because my concept, I'm looking at least 2, maybe like 4 cameras all hooked up at the same time, plus all the other features. But yes, Mindful, I watched a few videos on the Rodecaster Video S, and I'm kind of sold on the features of it, the quality. And I think what sold me is the audio switching capability, the built-in audio of the Rodes versus like the ATEMs. So if I have the Blackmagic ATEM Mini ISO Extreme G2 was the one I was considering. That one has like the XLR inputs. So I guess it's better with audio switching than like typically Blackmagic ATEMs, but it still doesn't, I think it still doesn't have the same built-in audio compression filter stuff that you can do with the Rhodes, such that if I'm on a moving vehicle, if I've got the microphones, if it's really windy and a bunch of background noise, I would love if I have a video slash audio switcher that actually does a good job in the moment, like not in post, but during shoot to kind of filter it out. Fed says, if I was editing TV shows or something with a tight deadline, I would probably use a speed editor or something else. Okay. Maybe I should consider that then. Because I need to spit out more content faster. You guys know me. I'm way too slow. When do you plan on your first IRL stream? Yeah, so Kevin, like I said, the next few days I'm just busy with this event, but I'm using each of these events to just talk it through. I have some follow-up meetings to kind of narrow down a list of gear that I'm looking to purchase, hopefully at a good haircut or like a good discount. I've got the mini PC here. I just need to wait for smarter minds to give me suggestions on how to get it all set up, because I think the mini PC I need to test for the OBS functionality as well as the live FTP functionality. So if I shoot with my Z9, can I get it to program, if I shoot 20 photos per second, can I get my mini PC to showcase the best photo on screen during a live stream, stuff like that. So I know Cyronius and Maple have done a lot of IRL, so I might learn from them. And then, yeah, so Kevin, I think once I get all the gear in the coming weeks, my goal is, I have a few buddies who've, you know, like I have a buddy, for instance, who has a Jeep, and I was thinking maybe we might even just do a road trip. I might even just head over to Oman or go camping in the desert. And while I do that, why not try to test out like a IRL stream? The only issue is I would love to have a Starlink tested out in the desert, but Starlink doesn't deliver to Dubai. So unfortunately, I don't know how to purchase my own Starlink as of now. So, but at the very least, we can test, you know, with cell coverage on the road, doing a stream, see how it functions, maybe try to go into the desert or somewhere else if the connection holds up. And yeah, if you guys can hopefully join that and let me know if the stream quality is okay. Well, yeah, we'll do a testing, stuff like that in the next, that's my goal for January, February. April, I'm going to Uganda for a photography group tour. So I'm taking a few people to do like the gorillas and all the other stuff. But during that time, maybe I can also do a bit of testing IRL. But my goal is then January, Feb, March is I'm using these 3 months to just go all in on research, buy the gear, start testing, all of it. Pelican, sorry, I was a bit slow with responding. You get Resolve Studio for free if you buy stuff over a certain price. Got it. Chill says, Pelican is a big one in the States. Nanook cases are from Canada. Oh, okay. Nanook. That does, now they say it, I'm like, does that say Canuck? Am I making up words right now? Okay. Anyways, it's from Canada. I didn't know that. Kevin says, I use a Walmart plastic bag for my gear. Hells yeah, man. More power to you and your gear. Mindful says, the Video S version I shared with you actually comes with 3 4K cameras for only $1,500 for everything. Okay, let me double check then. But I swear, when I was looking at it, if I was going to get the Rodecaster Video S, it was just a miniature version of the Rodecaster Video. So it was like, why stunt myself in that sense, where for my needs, I might need something bigger. BD says the A10 miniseries has a Fairlight audio mixing engine built in. However, I would never pass audio through any sort of Blackmagic product, especially that one. Yeah, so for instance, BD, so I'm at that event right now, right? The 1 billion follower summit. So I'm doing this podcast, and even those guys, they are using an A10 mini ISO Pro, and then they're using some kind of Rode product. I forget the name of it. They're using a Rode product for the audio switching. So yeah, even they're using like A10 for video, Rode for audio. But I was looking at both those devices. It's way too big. It's too clunky to fit into a Nanook case. For my needs, I need to simplify and minimize the real estate and the footprint such that I can fit everything inside of a case when it's closed. So you can imagine it'll have like the Rodecaster Video or like the ATEM, if I had gone with that, as like the main set. Then I need space for my mini PC to also go inside the case. And then maybe a monitor, but at the very least some wireless audio mic receiver, stuff like that. So I don't know. And all the cables and fans. So but yeah, BD, I do appreciate it. I think you had given me the insight previously as well, that ATEM is not necessarily trusted for audio. I didn't know that. I just didn't know anything about all of this is like all news to me. So I do appreciate you were one additional initial voice of reason about, maybe don't just jump all the way into the ATEM series for your needs. So right now I'm leaning into the Rodecaster until someone tells me otherwise. The people at the event, they're trying to convince me of the OC brand or the YOLO box. But I mentioned to them, it seems like those are less trusted or less, yeah, they're not on the same level of a Rode or Blackmagic. So I'm not sure. Kevin says Python. Mindful says, oh yeah, it also comes with the Rode Video ME mics. Huh. BD says, don't trust their audio processing for any reason. Talking about the Blackmagic. Okay. Man, I didn't know Blackmagic had such a bad reputation, I guess, for audio stuff. Mindful says, if you copy and paste that description into B&H, what, the Rode Video ME mics? Let me catch up on the chat first. Chill says the speed editor leans heavy into the multicam setup for studios, but it still can be used to edit footage quickly. It can still be used in the edit page, but that's where the buttons have a limit. Okay. Fez says just go to Iran. Yo, well, Starlink is free there now. Yo, I'm so sad at the current state of affairs globally, geopolitically, and all that. I remember years back, I went to a number of trips to Turkey, but one in particular, I was in the heart of Turkey, somewhere no one's ever heard of. It's called Van, V-A-N. I literally flew there at the end of a trip with a bunch of buddies by myself to spend a few days to try to photograph the Van cats. There are these cats that are known to swim in the water. They love water, and they're like pure white, kind of like Persian looking cats, but they have usually heterochromia, so they have like mixed color eyes. And I was so excited to try to photograph them. I went all the way to this town called Van, where they had, I guess, like a shelter or where they kind of breed them or something. Anyways, someone like a taxi driver tried to scam me at some point, and this whole family of Iranians came to my rescue. Basically, they saw that this dude was trying to rip me off, and they had no reason to help me. Like, I'm just doing my thing, but they came out of nowhere to be like, hey, don't listen to this guy. He's trying to rip you off, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you got to do. It was like one of the nicest things that, it's a big family. So it's like, you can imagine they're busy. They have other things to do. For them to go out of their way to help me out, a complete stranger, very, very, it was like one of those nice moments of like, damn, just a feel good moment. And I met a bunch of other Iranians in Turkey, and it sounds like a lot of them travel there apparently for some reason. And every single one of them was like, yo, you need to visit Iran. Don't listen to what you hear in the news. It's a beautiful place. The people are super friendly and open, and like, you would love going here. This is like years ago, by the way. So I have no idea what things are like now, but unfortunately, yeah, the chance of me going to Iran now is, it is what it is. I would love to go though. Yeah. Afghanistan is another area. I think potentially I should be able to go. I have a contact who runs tours there, so I was considering that. That would be really fun. Kevin says you should make a new Twitch account at IRL Yobel. No, man, I'm not big enough even with my current. It's not a bad idea. And by the way, I did earmark a channel name just in case for my IRL stuff, but realistically, I got my Yobel prize. That's gonna have to do. I'm just not big enough. It's the same issue of like, why am I trying to do a second channel when I need to focus on building the first one? So until I establish the first one, it's a bit hard for me to justify that. But I did kind of like reserve a potential naming for my project just in case. And then I also created a Twitch channel. Well, no, I was thinking of doing a new Twitch channel for my lo-fi catnaps, But for that one, I'm just using my Yobel price. So basically, I'm just going to keep using my single Twitch channel to keep building it up until we hit Twitch partner, let's say. And then on YouTube, now I've got my lo-fi catnaps and I got my my Yobel prize. So when I start doing some co-working streams now, for instance, it'll be on Twitch when I co-work, which is like not this, but when you know, basically I STFU and you just hear music and me working. In those streams, it's going to be on Twitch, Yobel Prize, and then I'll be multi-streaming on YouTube with my Lo-Fi Catnaps channel, not on Yobel Prize, just to not confuse the algorithm. Anyways, Chill says, I just want Nikon to let us connect an external SSD to the camera and let it record there. Oh man, that would be really nice. I 1000% agree. Damn. Especially with these new, like, you know, these files are massive. So yeah, I agree with you. Kevin says, do you think having these types of BTS editing and IRL on one channel, no bueno? Maybe. It's a good point, because in the same way I'm saying I'm trying not to confuse YouTube's algorithm, would that logic not apply to Twitch as well? Possibly, but for some reason in my mind, when I think of Twitch, I kind of don't view it in the same way of like the power of the algorithm or how important it is. You know what? You bring up a good point. I'm not sure, but the thought of like having multiple YouTube channels seems more obvious to me, or like more default what people will do at certain points. Whereas having multiple Twitch channels, I don't even know if that's like necessarily a thing or not. 24 karat gold Rolex for money for gasoline. IRL might be the one to blow up. Yeah, you know what? Who was it? Maybe it was Maple, maybe it was Cyronius. There's a few other people that we were having random chats, but I think IRL, it definitely is. Like, if I want to be a successful live streamer slash YouTuber slash whatever else, I think the IRL component is a necessity. You could just keep doing it obviously in the home, but I feel like it's not just a necessity, it's like a huge catalyst as well. Like, you see it in the numbers, you see like iShowSpeed right now is going through all of Africa, right? And how many other streamers do you know now where they're known for IRL stuff? How many viral clips do you see on social media of streamers where they're actually out and about, they're in the cities, they're walking, they're doing something? I think people are very interested, especially as the technology gets better, where the IRL streaming is the new entertainment mode, not sitting at home playing video games or whatever, right? Like, that's like the old school way of thinking. So yeah, I'm trying to get with the times as we speak. I'm trying to do it in our proper professional photographers mindsets type of way. I want to do this in high fidelity, right? In the same way I'm going overkill with my cat cameras and whatever else, you know, for this home setup. I want to apply that same kind of thought process to an IRL concept. So yeah, I think we'll get there, because I have the luxury of having all these expensive camera gears as part of what I do on the day to day. So why not apply it? Mindful says, I am white and American, so probably not safe to travel anywhere at this point in time. I want to go to Mongolia. Yo, come with me, Habibi. Come with me to Mongolia. I've been to Mongolia 3 times, I think. And it's definitely a destination I want to start organizing tours to properly. But yeah, I love that place, especially for the nomads, the eagle hunting. This year I do want to go to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and like try to do proper like filmmaking there, like especially from the travel documentary format. So like trying to visit some of these nomads, film their way of life, maybe try to do some interviews, find a unique story or a kind of like a nice heartstring kind of tugging theme to it all. But yeah, like I'm being more mindful or intentional with some of my upcoming trips to treat them as like film projects. Kevin says, you got to manifest it. There's a bigger market in the IRL realm. We should talk about it. Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I listen, I 100% agree. IRL is, I mean, proof is in the pudding, I would like to think. If you guys have been tuning into a number of my streams in the past 2 months, I would say. And this is something I've been researching behind the scenes for a number of months. It's the reason I got into live streaming, by the way, was because I wanted to do IRL streaming. So because like for me, I am a travel creator, right? I'm a travel photographer, travel videographer. So for me, like the wildlife is not in Dubai, right? The wildlife is everywhere out there, outside of Dubai. So for me, the joy is like traveling and sharing these moments when I travel to exotic locations with people as soon as possible, right? And so if I can do it live, I was like, yo, if I could show you guys right now when the elephant is walking past the lodge or the the common area in the hotel or whatever, if I could show that to you guys live, how amazing would that be? And it was just at the time, whenever I would have these thoughts, I was like, I don't know the first thing about going live. I just know Instagram live hits a button, but that's like super crude. So I was like, you know what? Once I get home, once I have the time, let's actually commit to doing live streams from my home. Forget the numbers, forget the, if it doesn't do well whatsoever. It was just like, it's more for the practice and getting into the mindset, learning the ins and outs, the intricacies. And now I do feel much, much more confident or knowledgeable about, the general idea of it, that I think I can pull it off now. So look at Kimpop over here, sticking his leg out there. You'll need an anchor for support when you're about anchor. I'm not sure what you mean by like a physical anchor or like some counterbalance on the backpack or something. Fez says, if you want high fidelity on everything, it might make more sense to shoot videos when out and about than edit them instead of trying to stream from those places. Streaming is never high fidelity. You're right. And you're wrong is what I would say, Fed. Or like, you're technically right but my goal is, that's why I was so keen on finding the right tech, because whether it's the Rodecaster video or the ATEM, it's got that ISO capability, or do people pronounce it ISO? I'm not sure, but the whole ability to have isolated recordings of each camera that you can then edit in post. So to me, I view it as like, hey, the high fidelity is not just the resolution. It's not just that level. I'm saying high fidelity as in the ability to have proper camera set up on the Jeep, pointing at the wildlife, switching at the right times, just everything in its right place, right? In a live stream moment. So everyone enjoys the value of the moment happening in real time and you catch it. And then I would have the ability to do post editing, turning it into proper YouTube videos. So yeah, my goal is to do both. My goal is live stream it and then use that content when I travel back home. And let's say the past 3 weeks that I've been gone, imagine those 3 weeks. It wasn't, here in Dubai with my mom. Imagine I was in freaking, I don't know, Kenya, or I was on these Jeep safaris and you guys were tuning into my streams for the past 3 weeks. And now here I am back home. What you would see during my home streams now would be me editing all of those footage from the live stream, sharing a lot of the BTS, and then putting together like proper videos, similar to how we were doing the Mongolia vlog and the other vlogs that we put together. So yeah, my goal is like, it's not just treating it one or the other, it's doing both. And then utilizing the fact that I live in Dubai and my home streams would be editing the content, and then I'd be traveling more regularly because I live in Dubai and Africa is my backyard, right? It's easy for me to go there and it's what I do already. So yeah, I think I'm trying to do both. But I'm still several weeks away from saying I'm ready to go, to green light it. I haven't even piloted it yet. So I think, Kevin, you asked earlier, I need to actually do a pilot in Dubai probably, or even just from my apartment, I guess. I just need to see all the tech working in a live stream and then feel confident to either bring it with my buddy in his Jeep and testing it there, and then eventually flying out to a new country and doing it there. So, yeah. Kevin says, imagine if someone needs to hop on a call with Starlink support. Yeah, we have some awesome people. Swiss Army Cinema, shout out to him. He had shared a lot of knowledge with me because he's got a Starlink. He had a film project in Uganda and he was testing it out there. And it seems like he had really solid uptime. Like I think he said like 98 or 99% uptime or something. So I think even in a country where technically Starlink isn't available, he wasn't using like this crazy roaming plan. He was using a default one. He was still getting good enough stream connection to do a stream. So yeah, it's just pick the right country where I can bring a Starlink and use it, and we're golden. Fed says, however, editing and launching while still there is closer to live. Oh yeah, so here's my Yeah. Well, here's my thought. Once I travel, let's just pick a random location. Let's say I'm doing my wildlife safaris and I'm doing them live. My thing is that I will still do a live stream, an editing stream, just from the lodge that I'm staying at. So imagine every evening after coming back from all the Jeep safaris, I would do an additional stream from my lodge itself where I would set up proper lighting, having the nice cameras, but the environment is obviously now, instead of me in my home, here I am inside of a tent where I'm, you can see I'm charging all the camera gear behind me. I'm kind of doing a recap of like the highlights of today's safaris. And then I'm literally hopping over to Lightroom or DaVinci to show you guys some of the best clips that I captured. And then we might even do some editing and tutorials, blah, blah, blah. And then also preparation for the next day's stream. So I got a whole game plan. I've got all the, like, it's ready, guys. I put in so much thought into this. I know it's just a matter of getting all the right gear because it's not cheap, and also securing the right partners, because some of these things is more about accessibility as opposed to just money. So it's both, but yeah. Let me just keep reading. I honestly am not up on IRL, says Mindful. Yeah, it's like, I feel like it's a Gen Z thing for sure. Like when I explain, I'm a millennial and I feel like my generation knows about streaming, but we didn't grow up with it. So we kind of know of it from a corporate perspective of like, oh yeah, these young guys, they're gaming. These gamers are on these platforms, the ninja guy, right? It's like, that's like the level of knowledge that majority of millennials, I would say my age, would have. And then as you get into the Gen Z, that's when it's like, yo, ninja is old news, man. What the hell? We're talking the blah, blah, they'll spew out a bunch of names and fun stuff. And then like IRL, then it's like, oh yeah, it's not this ninja playing video games in front of in his home studio. It's like, it's all these guys like the iShow Speeds who are traveling around, or some of the more, unfortunately, the more annoying, controversial ones who like go out into the real world and make a nuisance of themselves. But that's kind of like the generation that I think people are familiar with going forward. Kevin says, you need boots on the ground in the workspace. Yes. Fed says, okay, the setup, cool. Yep. Kevin, there you go. You can send me the files and I'll have your editor work on it and oversee it all. I just require revenue share. Listen, once I make real revenue, I'm all about sharing, by the way. I am not a greedy guy. Okay. I'm here to rising tides. I'm a big fan of that, big proponent of that. Fed says, people I watch usually edit and launch when they are still at the place they travel to. So they launch the videos day after it happened. Usually actually going live in wild places seems rare. Yeah. And listen, at least in my little world where, it's only been a few years that I've been like doing wildlife photography and stuff like that. Right. But in that world, you never see anyone share things live. At most, they might share some Instagram stories, but oh my God, I got some insights from like proper YouTubers and wildlife like Instagram accounts where the trick that a lot of them do is they're not even posting stories from the country that they're at while they're there. They're usually one trip behind. So let's say last month someone went to Costa Rica, and then right now they're traveling through Turkey. While they're traveling in Turkey, like let's say I'm in Turkey right now, I would be posting on my Instagram story of one of the first days of my time in Costa Rica, because now they've had the time where they have an editor or team to like kind of curate, make sure everything looks proper, and now they're ready to go, where every day that they're on this trip they don't even have to worry or spend time filming or capturing things and then figuring out how to then share it quickly on Instagram stories and stuff. They've just got a shit ton of content ready to post every single day. And I was so blown away by that because it makes sense. But I was like, damn, that's like the foresight I was lacking. But that's kind of what you might see. But the chances of seeing like a big wildlife photographer, whatever, travel person sharing high quality moments while they're traveling, definitely not live. Maybe several hours later or like a day or two later. That's about it. So I want to change that. I've been trying to do that on some of my more recent travels where I do my best all of last year and the year before. I would try every night before going to sleep. I would go through a bunch of either quick clips or moments that I can share. So at least there's a quick little recap or a little moment where you're less than 24 hours behind of my trip. But it's so exhausting, so exhausting. Fed says, but now with Starlink, you can actually do that. Yeah. Big question. What is your business plan to fund these trips? Well, that's a big question, right? Well, some of it is like with some of the partners and the companies that are based out here that I've built a good relationship with. I think there are possibilities for sponsorships or discounts on certain gear, or even just accessibility, like I said, right? Putting me in touch with someone who knows someone who can do something, blah, blah, blah. So like, thankfully I've done a number of projects in like the photography world and like the gear world. And also like from my time already traveling throughout Africa and other locations where, yeah, like, cause there's also the expense of staying in safaris and, you know, paying for private Jeeps, stuff like that. So some of those things, I have already done a number of it where you can stay for free and all they ask for in return is marketing collateral. So that's where you would edit a number of photos, videos of the lodge, of the wildlife, of various moments that they're asking for, and then you provide it to them. And so it's like a win-win because now they get a lot of marketing assets of like high fidelity, blah, blah, blah. And it's a win for me, let's say, because I get to stay for free in a place that costs hundreds of dollars per day, plus the having a private safari. Fed says, I'm Gen X. Nice. Gen X, Y. Am I Gen Y? Is millennials? I guess, yeah. Nobody says that, though. Nobody says Gen Y. IRL is in real life. Yes, IRL. Gen X here as well. Nice. Well, welcome. We don't discriminate about age ever. Unless you're like under the age allowed on Twitch. I don't know what that is. Fed says, I'm married too, so I have to be in my own real life too, or else my wife would probably react if I was just in other people's IRL all the time. Yeah, fair point. As of now, that's the other thing I have going for me, I guess, is I have no social life. I've got my 2 cats and my dedication to this craft, and that's it. Like, thankfully, I still have a number of years where I think this will continue to be the case. It's why I moved to Dubai, was like to kind of sever some social ties so that I have fewer distractions when it came to like pursuing some of my dreams or hobbies or passions. But definitely in the past 2 years, I made a huge decision to like cut a lot of the social aspect out of my life. It's not, by the way, something I recommend, but it was a intentional choice because it was kind of like a nice inflection point for me where it's like, what do you call it? Something nut up or shut up. Is that the right phrase? But it was one of those like, hey, you got to bust your ass off for the next 2 years to see, can you make it on your own or do you have to go back into corporate? So in that world, I was like, I don't want to go back to corporate. Let's just give up 28 hours per day to do this. So yeah, anyways, that's my current scenario, but you guys are asking all the real questions, which is like, how do you fund this? When is this going to happen? Who's the audience? What's the fidelity level of this and that? And like all of this, I want you guys to know, hopefully you see this in the quality of the outputs that I put out there in terms of my YouTube channel, stuff like that. I'm very proud of the videos that I've made, whether it's on Instagram or like the photos as well, or my videos on YouTube. To a fault, I am very much a perfectionist. I am too slow with things generally. And that hasn't necessarily changed. But hopefully you guys then have a little bit of trust that when it comes to even this concept that I'm talking to you guys about, more broadly, there's a lot of thought that's been put behind the scenes on this. I have a proper pitch deck that I've put together. I have proper, I've been doing all the right outreach. But yeah, I'm treating this very much as seriously as I treat everything else that I care about. So if your boy here can't make this a reality, no one can. That's what I'll say. I'm confident enough to say I'm best positioned to make this a reality. And so it's going to be a mixture of just pulling from my savings as needed to get like some of the initial gear. I'm not the type who wants to like ask for money from like, I have a bunch of friends who've always been super supportive, and they're like filthy rich. Okay. Very jealous. No, but you know, people who like close friends who they would give me money in a heartbeat for me pursuing my passion, which is like, I'm very grateful for that. But I want to, you know, this is one of those things where it's like, I would love to see how far can I take it on my own first, and then see if others can support me along the way. But anyways, you're still young. You can try stuff out. Yeah, I'm young enough where my body hasn't fully given up on me. You know what I mean? I'm not young. Okay, I'm young enough that my body can handle 4 hours of sleep per night, carrying around, you know, 20, 30 kgs of gear, trekking, and blah, blah, blah. I'm old enough to now know what it feels like to wake up in bed, yawn extra hard, and pull your neck muscle from yawning. So I'm kind of right in that, I don't even want to say sweet spot, but I'm in that spot where everything is possible. You're about to break every joint or bone in your body type thing. At the same time, you will be a superhuman. So the young bachelor Yobel. Yeah. Listen, sacrifices have to be made. Okay. The only thing I can't sacrifice is obviously the well-being of my cats. But even to that extent, you know, I've gone on trips where I'm gone for an entire month. So I do feel bad, but you know, cats are cats. They're super easy to, like, they're independent, and obviously I have a caregiver or someone looking after them. But isn't that right, Nala? Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Good girl. What a pretty girl. Look at LeBron. Well, yeah. Now, I don't recommend anyone going the direction of a LeBron. Like, they're like freak athletes, amazing, impressive people, but usually the amount of sacrifice that was needed for that was not like willingly placed on them. It's usually the will of their parents, which I'm not a big proponent of. I kind of grew up in that mentality with my parents. Different era, different era. But yeah, I would never do that to my kids. Even if someone told me, hey, if you do this, your kid is guaranteed to be the next LeBron or whatever in his craft or her craft, I still wouldn't do it. There's just like too much mental and physical trauma that gets baked into creating a LeBron, I would say. Mindful says, I'm hitting 47, still run around with 36 kg packs. You can do it. Damn. Okay, so no excuses then. Fed says, they're cats, it's fine. Worse if it was dog. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I won't get a dog anytime soon. I love dogs. It's just, yeah, the amount of responsibility, it would be irresponsible of me to get a dog. Fed says, I can trek too, I'm 45. Yeah, look, at age is but a number, right? I've been on these gorilla treks where, not even kidding, there's some lady that I think was like in her 70s. And I've definitely been on a bunch of treks with people in their mid 60s or beyond. And it's always super impressive. And man, okay, even going way back, after graduating, I went with one of my close friends to Japan, and just for like a fun post-graduation travel. And we hiked Mount Fuji. And I remember it was one of the most intense things I've ever done. Body was destroyed. And I remember at one point, an old man who must have been in his 60s or 70s just like zoomed past us. And then even before we can get to the next station or something, he was already on his way down. It was just one of the most bizarre, like, holy shit type moments of like, how is this guy doing it? So anyways, yeah, age is but a number. It's all about your maintenance and all that fun stuff. So yeah. Fed says, my parents are in their 60s now. They're in great shape, hiking the mountains and all over the place. Yeah. And you know what? There's a couple that I'll be taking to Uganda in October of this year. So I don't know exactly how they found my account. They saw my YouTube channels. Hopefully one of my ads that I started running, maybe it worked. But yeah, they reached out to me. They wanted me to organize a private tour for them. And they're not necessarily retired, but I believe they said they're in their mid 50s or early 60s. But basically they're at the age where they're like, yo, we have, I think kids are out of the house. They're very well established, well off now. And I think maybe semi-retired, or like they're they could retire, but they choose to keep working type thing, right? And you know, they got the itch to travel around the world, and so thankfully they were willing to trust me to spend, I think they're going to spend about 2 weeks with me in Uganda end of this year. So yeah, and I think I want to say they're in their 60s or late 50s, but yeah. That's why I say I'm semi joking, but it's all more like on the motivational side of things. Like, yo, especially with like health and science and all the things that we know these days, your body can last so much longer. You can take care of yourself so much better these days. So yeah. Speaking of which, I went to the gym. Yeah, I was mentioning I was completely destroyed. So you can also mess up your body so easily. So yeah, I gotta be mindful of that. Okay, I'm looking at the time. It's about 11 p.m. I know I should stream for a few more hours because I have a lot of stuff to work on, right? Like, actually, you know what? Let's finish this. Let's finish this first. Because I am getting tired and I know I need to kind of pass out soon. But I need to get shit done. We're so far behind. So let's see. Did I bring this one over? Let's see. 953. Yes, I did. Okay. Oh, these are all 953. Shoot. Okay, let's drag both of these over just in case. Let's get all three of these guys. And let's check it out. Fed says, my parents have been retired for a couple of years now and traveling a lot. Mindful says, good luck, man. Keep it real. Thank you very much, Mindful. Yeah, good luck to all of us, right? And in whatever our passions, our endeavors are. Times are tough these days, man. Like, you know, the economy all over the world, not so hot, you know? Yeah, so I'm always very grateful just to be able to do this, right? For another day. Yeah, so I take it day by day. But yeah, I appreciate it always. So we got some nice footage. Again, this one, the theme is going to be about this baby chimp or chimps. So I might not necessarily use all of this. I just want to kind of start with the full collection of possible clips. And again, the goal is any of these kind of moments. Like here, that's cute. Like this one for sure. It might even start with this moment because that was nice. I wonder, I forget what I shot this with. I wonder if it was like the 85 lens. For these, a lot of the shots I was filming with either 85 1.2 or the 400 4.5. I'm not sure. I can always check later. Mindful says, well, geopolitics is a mess. Then there are us folks who want to promote and protect wildlife and capture moments. Yeah, listen, you know, you have to like pick a lane, I guess, right? In my lane, I'm trying not to do much of anything that's controversial for the content that I want to put my name on. Yeah, because just generally, I would love for my streams and the things that I work on to just always be on the positive side of things, right? So I try my best not to go into topics like that where it just can lead to a lot of differing emotions and stuff. But yeah, protecting wildlife, that's like, yeah, I think conservation is a huge thing where I am not well versed in this space. I never went to school for this. I couldn't tell you the first thing about like eco tourism or eco this or that. But like at a broad level, would I want to support the conservation of wildlife? 1000%. And if I could be a part of a ripple effect in a positive way towards that angle, that'd be great. I would love for that to be associated with me in some way. So that's why I was really happy I was able to make this chimp documentary about the island sanctuary. And it is my goal to do more of these types of film projects around that convergence of wildlife and humanity and what does it mean, and not necessarily showing just the negative side of things, that kind of stuff. All right, so we got that clip. We got the old grandpa. Man, he was my favorite chimp, I think. I forget the guy's name. Tumba? This guy also looks very badass. Not that much we can do about geopolitics, so better to just focus on what we do instead of in our own fields. Yes, I agree. This guy I think was my favorite. Tumba. Just got that nice like freckled face. This guy's seen some shit type face, you know. Okay, but these are not baby chimps. And this guy, one of my favorite shots was with this guy. It is in the tunnel. I actually made him the face of my thumbnail because he's got a very distinct broad shoulders, like very thick face looking thing. All right, this could be used. Let's see. We got the, oh shoot, I gotta mute the music. I think I'll get copyright. Yeah, where'd it go? Maybe I can use this one, but yeah, it's such a short clip and you barely see the baby. Very expressive guy. Yeah, man, chimps are, I'm trying to think how would I rank it in terms of like the wildlife that I've been able to capture so far. But chimps for sure are, it's got to be up there for me because of how human like they are, especially with their facial expressions. Yeah, capturing emotion in animals are always, I would imagine most wildlife photographers, that's what you want, right? You're looking for unique, distinct emotional moments or emotive moments, I guess. So to have an animal that mimics human emotions in so many ways, it's like a cheat code of like capturing some really cool shots, especially baby chimps who are like 10 times more curious and sometimes a bit more bold with their actions. So yeah. Mindful says, Fed, I struggle with that. I still do, as I have served 22 years in the military and have seen how much changes. I am more in the advocacy realm, but it has risks and shuts down commercial work. Yeah, yeah. 22 years. Wow, that's mad respect. I remember I did not ever serve in the military. There was a world, an alternate reality where perhaps I could have gone to West Point. Because I remember in my high school, it was a thought that I had was like applying to West Point. And I think I had a decent chance because I was near the top of my grade. I was varsity, you know, I had like wrestling, you know, I was like a good wrestler and I was student body, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And so West Point came up as like one of those like, hey, potential, you should apply here if you're ever interested in going in that direction. And I remember at the time there's a friend of mine, I'm not like really close to her anymore, but it's like a high school friend. She was like super gung-ho about going into West Point. And there's like I remember at the time feeling guilty of like applying there and taking, because I think if I remember, it was like one of those things where if you get accepted, only one person can get accepted from like either an area or a school or something like that. It was very, very selective. And I remember having this thought of like, I felt guilty about potentially, it's not to take away from her. She ended up going to West Point. For all we know, she would have gotten accepted over me for all sorts of reasons, right? So it's a little bit egotistical to say like I definitely would have gotten it or something over her, but there was always a thought where it's like, okay, on paper technically I would have a good shot to get in, but if I get in, that means she wouldn't. So I remember at the time I was like, you know what, F it, yeah, I won't apply. But there's an alternate world where what if I got into West Point and then my whole life became about like being in the military and stuff. I'm curious, I'm so curious what that alternate reality it would be. All right, let's copy this one over. Next one. All right, this one I don't think will work. I'm trying, oh wait, no, maybe it could. Because I did focus on the baby, at least here. But there's so much action going on. Let's see. Elle is back. Hello, welcome back, Elle. I'm back after a phone call and dinner. Yo, that's the longest phone call and dinner. Actually, no, I take that back. How long have I've only been streaming, I think, like 2 hours. Young Private Yobel. Master Sergeant. Is that the Master Chief Sergeant? Is that the Halo one reference? If I could change my decision from so long ago, I would, says Mindful. What do you mean, Mindful? As in not going into the military? Okay, we will keep this video, although a lot of this will end up cutting because it's not the baby. But yeah, let's grab this. Psycho Eyes. Mindful says yes, not going. Gotcha. Okay, interesting. Fez says we all have to do a year here. I was in the Marines. Oh, okay, interesting. What do you call that? No, not conscription. What is it when you're forced mandatory service? Maybe it's that. Well, listen, Mindful, I am you will not find a bigger advocate or proponent of no regrets. I live my life with the understanding that most things I feel is in our mind, right? We kind of build things up in our mind or we break things down. Either way, it's like your perspective on things makes a huge difference. The power of the mind. And I think there's nothing more poisonous, toxic, whatever, destructive than the power of the mind being used for regrets. Because how many times do people be like, oh, if I could have done this, I wish I had said yes instead of no in this circumstance, or I wish if only I had done this thing, my life would have been 10 times better, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, who knows? Maybe you're 1000% correct. If you'd only done the thing you didn't do, your life would be better. But it's like when you're already playing in this hypothetical what if world, it is so crazy that your brain does this. It is the most toxic thing you do to yourself, because it's like in a world of infinite what ifs, why does your brain, your mind choose to invest any amount of time conjuring up a world where your life was worse, or like your life could have been better, so you're feeling more miserable because of XYZ wrong choice? It's like, well, for every wrong choice, there's equal number of choices where your life would have been worse if you had done the thing. Maybe if you said yes instead of no, you would have won $1 million the next day, but then the day after you get hit by a car and die. And it's like, well, there it goes. So it's like there's like infinite number of scenarios where equal chance of things could have been better and equal chance things could have been worse, and yet our brains decide to like invest hours or lose sleep or ponder these things in our free time about why I feel regretful about the choices I made in life. And it's like, yeah, I literally just shut it out of my brain whenever I have an inkling of that direction. Elle's asking, is that Finland they're from? Oh, Fed. Oh yeah, Fed, Norway, right? I forget. Mandatory 1 year since we have such a small population of 5.5 million. Depending on where you get sent, it's either 12 or 14 months. Okay. Mindful says those thoughts change when you have been married for a decade with 2 to 3 kiddos and are burned out from the career grind. Fair enough. Yeah, maybe I'm speaking with, what do they say? Rose tinted glasses or clear eyes. What is it? Full heart, clear mind? What the hell? Whatever that thing is. Fair enough, Mindful. Maybe I just haven't had enough years under my belt of the mindful grind, as you say. And then, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I would say majority of people living in regret is probably only going to make things worse. It's like when you're going bald, right? And it's like you see yourself going bald, and what's the worst thing you can do is start to stress about it and like think about it and worry about it, because then all of a sudden, if that's all you do, you actually become more bald because you're stressing yourself and blah blah blah, right? It's like you're manifesting, not like no jokes, right? But you are in a sense creating the world that you fear by thinking about it too much. And so I kind of view it the same way with like daydreaming, but daydreaming about a world where life was better, because it's like there's 1,000 other things you could do that's more productive and doesn't put you in a bad mood. Now, if you think about like regret in the sense of motivation to like light a fire under your ass, then I agree. Actually, then sure. Anything that serves you in a positive way in a world where you could do anything, or you could do, yeah, you can choose to spend your time as you want. Fine. Okay, there's a baby chimp here. Let's bring this over. Yeah, Norway. Fed says Norway. Yes, yes. L's saying, wait, it's mandatory in Norway. Looks like it's going to be so here in Denmark soon. Really? At least when you turn 18. Damn. What's the state of affairs in... Wait. I'm trying to recall. Has there been something crazy happening where you guys are going to do mandatory service? Oh, wait. Denmark. Wait, who owns Greenland? Who owns Greenland? Denmark. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now it's all making a bit of sense. Okay. Greenland, aka Denmark, which will inevitably become the 51st state of the US at some point, right? Oh, man. L says, wait, Fez says the mandatory military service is often seen as a way of finally growing up as well here, learning a bit more responsibility and discipline. Yeah, although I don't know if I necessarily think mandatory military service, in a world where you can choose to make it optional, obviously I would say optional, there are like better things to teach discipline than military, right? In my opinion, like sports. That's like the obvious go-to answer, but I do feel like if there was mandatory sports that was part of your growing up, that would go a long ways to building up maturity, let's say. L says a mix of Russia, proximity, and Greenland. Greenland owns Greenland, but in the Kingdom of Denmark. No, sorry. Yeah, like, not that I know much of any of that kind of stuff, but I just remember Denmark was in the news recently because of the whole Greenland situation in the US. So I remember hearing Denmark pop up for some reason. I couldn't connect the dots until just now. Look at this catch by the chimp here. Good job. Oh no, never mind. You messed up. This was one of my favorite shots in terms of the viewpoint here and the sun coming through and all that. And we did end up creating our own color grading LUT from this, so that was fun. I do need to create more LUTs so that I can start properly selling it and all that fun stuff. But we want baby chimps. Fed says, yeah, sure, I had discipline already from martial arts, but it's often an argument you hear when there's talk about the mandatory service. You know what? I heard this idea from... like years ago, and I still think that I wish this would be implemented in the US. It was the concept of what is it called, like you have like study abroad, or no, student exchange. Is that what it's called? Exchange student exchange. There's always like this kind of exchange program where you would have students from one country going to another country and that you swap, right? And that always felt like a really cool thing. I think that happened in my high school as well. There's some people, like I remember some Chinese kid was in my school and they were part of some exchange program. But the problem is that's like hard to scale up because of the cost, you can imagine. But someone had this idea that there should be this exchange program, but interstate level. So taking someone from like the inner city or taking someone from like a rural town or whatever, and then doing an exchange program with someone from the big city, or a West Coast versus East Coast or whatever. And to me, I thought that was one of the coolest ideas, and hopefully a bit more cost effective. But even if it's costly, I will almost feel like it would be worth the money at a nation level, because only speaking for the US, without necessarily going into specifics, obviously there's never been a time in my life that I can think where things were more polarizing, where people are on opposite ends of the spectrum and basically almost like viscerally hate the other person based on what they believe in,
Exchange
where they
programs are
live, blah blah
cool.
blah,
My
all that kind
boarding
of like
school has a
stereotypes.
partner school in
So if you could
Barcelona,
live in a world
Spain,
where
we were a week at the other
Ooh.
school.
You know, I'm glad that I think that was a Spanish accent TTS voice as you're talking about Spain. It was fitting. Exchange programs are cool. My boarding school has a partner school in Barcelona, Spain, where we were a week. Yeah, I think the exchange program is a brilliant idea. And I thought the idea of doing it within the US, like within states, was even more brilliant because hopefully more cost effective, but a nice way to make the next generation, the young generation, have a bit more of an open mind to their fellow countrymen, countrywomen, citizens of the US that sometimes get built up as like the demon spawn, right? So like if imagine someone who grew up in a rural countryside has to spend a semester in Chicago or New York City or San Francisco, and see, you know, make friends and realize how much we have in common as much as we're different culturally. So to me, it's like such a brilliant idea when you're young, when you're more malleable and yeah, just open-minded, I guess. And then same thing if you're living in San Francisco and you go to Wisconsin or I don't know, like somewhere Midwest or something. Yeah, I think that would be so awesome. But Fed says, yeah, I went to school with a couple of guys who were over in the US a year. Wow. A year for high school as an exchange program. We also had a class over here from Estonia who lived with families here for a while. And they came to visit too, says L, throw an NYC kid to Wyoming or trade from red to blue state, but also have city to country. Exactly. Yeah. So it could be cross party lines. It could be cross like, like the country versus city, like rural versus urban. It's just about taking someone from one set of culture to another set of culture in a safe, like doing it in the proper way. And what better way than if you have a program, especially around like high schoolers or stuff like that. Honestly, I wish they would do that. I think it would solve in the long run if, hopefully people have enough patience to let a program like this run out for a long time, because I'm imagining it's a lot of money. But yeah, if you could subsidize it to some extent, and if you could run this for a number of years, just long enough so that next generation grows up in this for years, and we have enough data to kind of quantify a little bit of the effects, I can only imagine it can help, not hurt. Like the chances of that, something like that hurting society, it must be, it's possible, but this is a really cool clip. It almost feels like it deserves its own standalone video because like the lighting here was really nice. Thankfully I held focus decently. It's a nice side profile angle of this chimp, and yeah. It's kind of wasted though, because it's not really published anywhere on my channel. It will be part of that 5-hour video, but I haven't figured out better ways to kind of share these kind of moments so it sees the light of day. Fed says, my city is the sister city of Houston, Galveston, Texas. We have some strange rock art by a city lake here from Galveston, the Galveston Stones. Looks like ancient relics from Indiana Jones. Damn. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, so even something like what you just said, Fed, it's like it's kind of cool, right? Because it just takes one story for like an entire town to be like, oh yeah, Texas, or like yeah, America, we got that thing from Texas, blah blah blah. Oh, here we go. We got some chimps. Let me double check because I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so this clip we'll drag over. L says, we had students from South Korea come to 1 to 4 each year, and they end up being basically fluent in Danish. Yeah, that's what. So to me, I kind of view it as like the international exchange programs is already proof that I think it's as in this is a good thing. But my understanding with no knowledge is that this must be funded by private families, right? Or it's like if you have enough money, then only then would you be able to send your kids to these types of programs. I don't know how if there is some kind of scholarship program or stuff that allows anyone to just do that. So it's very much like it's a handful of students each year being able to do that across the world. But yeah, it's not like at a scale where, yeah, maybe your school happens to have a couple people from one place. But now imagine, yeah, if only there's a way to like multiply that across the world, you know? Okay, so let's grab that clip. This is a good one. Okay, not these ones. Maybe this one. Oof, okay, let's see. Fed says, yeah, by the Stones, there's a big sign with a lot of information about Houston, Galveston, and the different festivals that's been held between the cities and so on up through the years. Yeah. Nice. Oh, this is a nice moment. Now, by the way, if you like the oh wait, hold on. Hopefully, let me see. Can you guys hear the music? Oh no, you guys didn't hear any music here. My bad. This stupid OBS keeps breaking down on me, where I have to restart these different little audio things. Okay, now you guys should be able to hear music. If you like the music, by the way, it's music that I curated for my Lo-Fi Catnaps channel, so you should definitely go ahead and follow my Lo-Fi Catnaps channel. I just published 2 videos in the past 2 days, so we've been on the grind. Okay, I've got a lot more to publish, and by the way, each video that I published so far, I have not repeated the same music. So we've got, I think at this point, about 8 or 9 different mixes of like 1 to 2 hours long of various types of music, lo-fi beats, ambient, chill, cinematic music, and like drone sleeping music. So check it out. Ooh, this is a good one. Wait, did I skip one? Let's see. Oh no, it's the same footage, yeah? Okay, so let's drag this one. Fed says, I feel the rolling chimp is coming soon. Yeah, it must be, right? I don't remember having this many baby chimp moments. Okay, obviously this is a great one. We got that proper close-up. This might have been with the 400 4.5. It must have been, yeah. Look at that, beautiful non-focused shots. Man, we got some, this is some primo footage here, okay? So we'll take all of that. L says, apparently my city has the most sister/friendship cities in Denmark with a whopping 23. Oh, is that what they call it? Sister cities? Friendship cities? I didn't know that was a... I always heard like exchange program. More boring name. Sister cities, friendship cities in Denmark with a whopping 23. Damn. That's brilliant. I just want that in the US. That's all I'm saying. I'm not asking for much. But I think this one program, can you imagine if this one program in a hypothetical future was the one thing that would actually that would solve all of the problems of the US, all this hatred and all that. Can you imagine if this one program was actually the cure to all of that? What city in Denmark is at what Fed is asking? All right, we got some more nice footage, but not baby chimps. Okay, this is like a teen. I think it counts. I do love these like close-up shots a lot more. So this trip was also very fruitful in the sense that I shot with the 400mm f 4.5 lens, the Nikon lens. And man, I loved it. Now, one is a prime at the 4.5. I do love my 400 2.8, obviously, but the 400 4.5 was so much lighter, and it did a really good job, you know, because a lot of the places where I was using it, it was like a decent amount of sunlight coming through, so I didn't have to worry as much about it being at like a 4.5 versus a 2.8. But the fact that it was super lightweight compared to my 400 2.8, I ended up with a lot more stable shots, obviously, as part of that. So, all right, we're gonna drag this one in. Where is the rolling chimp? My city here is Stavanger. L saying the real Paris of the North. It's not Tromsø. Yeah, I think this was also with the 400 4.5. But yeah, the quality here, I love it. Like you can see this chimp's got a chipped nail on its finger. You can see the cuts on, you know, above its eyebrow. I will need to, as we go through a refining stage, I'll need to turn off all the stabilization and like do it a bit better. But yeah, this is why I love wildlife photography as well as wildlife videography, because in some ways it is like a cheat code, because you can just take like here, this is an example, right? I could just be filming a normal moment of an animal for minutes on end, slow it down even, and it can still be very quote-unquote cinematic. It can be very much like people are willing to watch hours or longer moments of it. Whereas if you're a filmmaker of any other genre, you have to be much more focused on whatever you're filming, because obviously you got to maintain the interest of the audience. So to me, I feel like wildlife filming is a bit of a cheat. Because I'm not doing, for instance, let's say I film this, right? But I'm not doing anything special. I'm just pointing the camera at the subject. Vi kan kjøpe hele Sverige om vi vil. I think I concur. Oh wait, translation. We can buy all of Sweden if we want. Nice. I concur. But yeah, like, I'm just looking at this. For me to not necessarily do anything special, just point the camera at an animal and just film whatever moments that happen. I'm trying to think, like, the fact that you could do that technically and end up with something that's worth sharing or of like high quality. Whereas like if you do it for other genres, you'd be more hard pressed. You'd have to be more mindful of what you film, I guess. Here I could just film whatever bullshit and like, yeah. So I think wildlife photography, wildlife filmmaking could be considered a little bit of a cheat, where you don't necessarily have to have the same eye for things, the same quality of storytelling and all that. Not that I'm complaining, right? But I'm just realizing as I see this. Fed says, I'm sure if every Norwegian agreed, we could buy Sweden with our oil money. Yo, where the hell? Okay, I'm going to be a little bit faster about it. I'm looking for that chimp rolling shot because I'm getting tired. I didn't drink any water today. I had iced coffee. Oh no, I had some water in between the interviews. Yeah, I can tell I'm parched right now. 757. Give me the rolling chimp. Okay, we got baby. Ooh, was this it? Oh, I don't know if this is the rolling chimp. Okay, let's check. But we got baby chimp again. Elle says I skipped some messages. I'm sure if what did I skip? Oh yeah, yo, did you see the new 24105 for f4 7.1? I did. I haven't shot with it or tested it. But that sounds super impressive. Or like, yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, what could I see myself using that? 24 to 105. That's like a perfect lens focal length for me, or like a focal range, I guess. And then f4 to 7.1. That's just the big question mark for me. If I'd be okay, can I quote unquote settle for shooting? I don't know if I ever really shoot at 7.1. It's like a 7.1 seems like a random number that I never hit intentionally. Like maybe I'll shoot at f4.5, f5.6, maybe 6.3. At times I know like I'll have it set there. I don't know how often I've ever set the camera's aperture to 7.1. So with that in mind, like that's not necessarily the best kind of testing of anything, but like I guess instinctively every time I've traveled and shot, I don't ever get it to hit 7.1 on the aperture. So, but that 24 to 105, that's really tough to pass up. I'm assuming it's also a much more lightweight lens. So, okay, so we do have the baby chimp doing its thing. I'm just trying to think, is this the same clip where the chimp starts doing the roll, the barrel roll? Elle, you asked shoot at f8. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I ever shoot, at least for my wildlife. Okay, so the thing is, because I mostly do wildlife, I feel like my aperture is usually set to like an f 2.8 if possible, sometimes f4, somewhere in that range. I can't remember how many times I've ever shot at f8. If I was still doing landscape or something, maybe I could see myself doing that. Okay, so we got baby chimp again. Nice quality there. This was this was such a cool shot of the chimp here. Like the face it's making was insane. And it was like nice, crisp. Yeah, man, I guess I have to think about it a bit more. I would love to test it out. Because that 24-105 is almost worth the increase in aperture. Because what's the alternative? It'd be my usual setup where I'd have the 24 to 70 and a 70 to 200 at 2.8, which obviously that's like, you know, that's almost like a gold standard. But obviously it then requires either swapping lenses or having two cameras, which technically I do tend to travel with two cameras. So it could potentially work where I would still have the 24-70, 70-200, 2.8. Yeah, I don't know. Fed says, I shoot at numbers like that a lot when shooting crowded areas. I like to have deep focus when shooting detailed crowds and such with plenty of layers of people and stuff. That's a good point. And like I said, I think I just have to think about how much of my subjects have changed in terms of like what I want to film or what I film. With animals, it's almost it's not likely that I'll be shooting at such an aperture for wildlife. If I'm shooting maybe cities, like let's say if I'm filming something in the city, or like you said, Fed, like with a lot of people involved, or if I just have enough sunlight, right? Like to have that 7.1 aperture. Or I guess if I'm doing films where you're on a set now, where you have some controlled light, I guess that's the other alternative. Elle's asking Fed, have you met Bear Thunder? All right, we got some more clean videos. Okay, I need to speed this up. I'm getting so tired. Where the hell is Baby Chimp? Baby Chimp. All right, we got Baby Chimp doing a bit of a side eye. Nice, stable, locked in focus the whole time. Sick. Okay, so let's grab this. Ooh, this was also a cool moment. If I remember, I think this is where Baby Chimp stood up, and I think I held focus, or I adjusted. I was locked in, I think. Let's see. Yeah. It was so cool to see the baby just stand up like that and just scratching his ass. It's like so human. Yeah, so this one's a good one. Let's grab this. Doo-doo. Baby Chimp. Oh, there it is. Oh man. Okay, here we go. Finally. Okay, let's just copy this over. This might be the last one for today. Let's see. We'll let it play out. Bear Thunder is asking Fed, if you're under the trees shooting wildlife, for example, you need to open up more just to get light. Yeah. My father's name is Bjorn. Oh, that means bear. I didn't know that. His last name is not Thunder. All right, here we go. Here comes the iconic backwards barrel rolling chimp. Let's see you do your thing. Man, like filming this in real time in the moment was so crazy. Like, because my mind couldn't process what I was seeing. Like, I just didn't know. I just never fathomed chimps doing this. Like, it just didn't cross my brain. So, like, seeing the little cheeky little kid doing that, I was like, what the? And a little behind the scenes, I think I explained this before, but in my 5-minute documentary film, I was very proud of it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. But I did also time the script. So at this point in the film, as the chimp was doing the backwards roll, is when I had the Dr. Rakundo had some line about, hey, so we chose this island. The founders of the sanctuary chose this island because they didn't want this place to feel like a zoo, where it's like a very cramped enclosure. They wanted this to be open enough, blah, blah, blah. So as he was giving these lines about not having a zoo, letting the chimps have more freedom, blah, 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 I thought this shot lined up perfectly because you're literally seeing a chimp roam around freely in the most bizarre ways, in a free way, if you will, and not in a cramped way. So yeah, that was like one of the behind the scenes of, like, I was trying to match the dialogue to the moment. But yeah. All right, listen, that was the moment I was waiting for. We have a few more clips. Oh shit, we have a lot more to go through, but at the very least, I already have 33 minutes worth of slowed down, to be fair, but slowed down footage of these chimps. So imagine my aim would be like, can I make another 5-minute or 10-minute type video that's just hyper focused on the baby chimp footage. So it'd just be another sub series of some of these shots. So hopefully it'd be something you guys enjoy watching. Which, by the way, I'll plug myself again. Go to my YouTube channel. I think I've got like 4 or 5 of these videos out now. And I say YouTube channels, right? Go to my Yobel Prize YouTube channel and now my Lo-Fi Cat Naps one. Okay, well, thank you guys. Actually, this was a really fun stream. I really enjoyed the fact that you guys were here. And I'm realizing, damn, I need to get back to doing some late night streams. Late night my time, afternoon your guys' time. So that's another thing I'll put to my to-do list to think about this year's strategy. I appreciate all you guys being here. Tomorrow I have day 2 of this event. And so wish me luck. I'll do a few more podcast interviews and then one more day after that. And then I'm back to the grind fully to being in front of this computer every day. So Fed, I'll DM you on Discos. Yes. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let's see our cats one more time. Look at Kimbap over here. Say goodnight to Kimbap. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy, Kimbap. Yeah, there you go. And where is Nala? Oh. Where the hell's Nala? Whatever. Well, anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys to 50-50. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah.